Well, hello. This is a return to our Monday night open mics. We had quite a few of them going on leading up to the most recent trial election, and then we stopped them for 2 weeks, but we're going to kick it back up. There is no trial election in near sight, so this isn't really the purpose anymore. Instead, it's just going to be an open discussion for EOS community, Eden members, maybe potential EOS community who want to become Eden members, or not. You can just it's an open discussion. Get to know each other, congeal as a community, coagulate. That's not a term used often. Hey man, we should coagulate more often.
Yeah, we should glom together.
Glom. Is that even a word? I don't know that one.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And look it up. GLOM. I would not lie about vocab.
No, you're did you study languages in your scholastic endeavors?
A little bit, just creative writing mostly, some literature, but it was never my focus explicitly.
What was the word? G-O-L
Glom. GLOM.
Glom. Oh, no, that's
To glom onto something. Am I right or am I?
No.
No? Come on. It's got to be it. Now I got to look it up.
Oh, wait, I spelled it wrong. Hold on.
It's a four-letter word. How did you spell it?
Because I put the O. Glom.
To grab
Glom,
or hold on to something.
steal.
Oh, you went straight to etymology?
Well, I'm DuckDuckGo search here.
Oh.
Synonyms. Well, it sounds like definitely a wicked boggle word or Scrabble.
Yeah. Yeah,
GLOM. Yeah, it's a good Scrabble word.
It's a good midway.
Yeah. I mean, nothing to do with Eden or EOS. So
there you go. From 1907, glom, grab, snatch, steal. American English underworld slang from Scottish glaum, apparently from Gaelic glam, to handle awkwardly, grab voraciously, devour. Sense of look at, watch. Okay, maybe this isn't appropriate for the community, but you know. Let's go back to coagulate.
Yeah, because that was a better one. Glom.
So anyway,
that's good. Glom's a good word. I love words. I once had I was going to go to university in the States, being Canadian, and so I had to do my SATs, and it dawned on me that I suck at language. Like I did not read a lot. My vocabulary was not anything special. So I spent a whole summer making myself cue cards with a word written on one side, so the card had the word, phonetic pronunciation, and then when I flipped it, it had the word definition and then used in a sentence. And I stuck those cue cards all over the place. I worked in a restaurant and I stuck them like where the customers couldn't see them, but I could see them, and all sorts of random words. And then if I forgot what it was, I could flip it over and remind myself what the definition and used in a sentence was. So I still have this stack of paper of these words that I never knew, and common words like moot and rigmarole. And, I mean,
moot didn't used to be very common, but yeah.
Vincent, thanks for joining us. We're totally not talking anything to do with anything significant.
We are all of two people, and now Vincent arrives to save us from the duality.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys.
It's a nice
headshot.
I
was just working, and I saw you post that, so I was saying to myself I should just join and listen in while I'm working on some stuff. So I'll listen to the people that are joining, but I won't participate as much. I was just here to listen more. I was glad to see you guys are here and discussing.
We appreciate your wanting to listen to our voice. I got to get a better mic so that way it sounds more soothing. Help you work better.
Good.
The tinniness of these little mics. What's that?
I just moved and I can't find my mic, so we're in the same boat,
right?
Got these fans in a box somewhere.
It's an EOS Nation party.
Matthew, Darwin.
I mean,
I wonder.
Just talk about EOS Nation now.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was going to bring up. I'm way behind in the chat. I have to confess right off the bat. I've been like trying to catch up in the Telegram chat since I got home, and it's just been nutty. But there was some.
Skip it.
There was some I'm tempted to. I bounce back and forth, between. But it's like, what if I miss something
You feel
groundbreaking?
compelled to, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
which channels do you try to keep up on, if you're willing to
I
disclose?
yeah I pay attention to the Eden on EOS Telegram channel as well as the Eden members channel. Um, then a bunch of unrelated to Eden stuff. I'll gladly tell you about two if you want to know. But 3 Slack channels. Like honestly, like we could just complain about the number of sources we need to monitor. That's kind of productive sometimes.
Yeah. Well, here's one thing that you may not be aware of. So Lenny, who's Eden member, great guy, he is going to be doing recaps of the Eden members channel because
I
some
saw
community,
some.
yeah,
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 that's excellent.
yeah, right. So I guess a few EOS community members uh, felt that they were being left out of a private chat group that they could join if they became a member, but somehow they felt entitled to being. I don't know. I personally don't. I don't quite buy into that. I mean, but whatever. So what? Because my thing, and a few people also felt this way, is that if we know that that chat's being monitored by any and everybody, we're going to change the way we speak, right? We're going to curtail.
That would be my point. That would be my point. And then self-censorship starts happening, and
Exactly.
you don't
So
feel free to express yourself as you would with a group of peers that you're like united in a common endeavor with.
exactly.
Um,
Right. It takes
yeah,
one, oh, look what they said. And all of a sudden the FUD spills out of control because somebody said something negative. And it's like, yeah, because sometimes we have to debate using negative tone, right? To get to the root of an idea. Anyway, so moral of the story is that Lenny is going to then do these updates. I don't know the frequency,
mm,
maybe like weekly or ish. I forget exactly how often he's going to do it, but then he started another channel that he will post these summary of what's going on in that chat, but no one's name will be associated with any particular statement or anything. It'll just be like a summary of what was talked about.
cool.
So
I like
you can
it.
read that and skip a bunch. Well, you should probably read it all, but anyway,
Somebody
miss
suggested
that.
a while, but yeah, I'm sure I've missed a lot, but maybe this is a good opportunity to catch other people up too, because my ignorance can be fuel for the the good questions.
Mhm,
Maybe.
maybe. Yeah, I don't know what else has happened. Um, yeah, that. I don't think block one, the proxy, or sorry, well, the proxy hasn't had any progress other than I did interview Edgar from EOS Costa Rica today. So that'll be the first spotlight video that I will post tomorrow. EOS Nation, no need to comment, but you're on my hit list of BPs to interview, and it's a highly flattering format. So nothing, and there's fixed questions, no zingers, no. This is live. Answer this one. So yeah, none of that. It's all meant to be very, very encouraging and collaborative. So that went well. So I'll produce that. I got to get myself a little zippy intro. Looks nice. And then
Awesome.
Earthman has received the invite. So we're doing part of the board meeting output is we're going to do daily calls starting next week, every day of the week from 9 to 11 or so a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. So 1300 UTC. And those will be Eden office hours, open office hours, we're calling them. So we're just going to,
Hmm.
Josh and I are going to hop on, and it's kind of like this, except it'll
Hmm.
be Eden focused. Really, anybody could jump on and still shoot the shit if they wanted to. But ideally, we can have like working meetings. We're going to talk about one of the things came up that we could work on one of these calls is just fixing the CoinGecko description of EOS,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty weak.
Super
So
outdated.
yeah, thinking we can rewrite that and then hand that to Dan and see if he can use his clout and email address. I don't know, because you gotta. Anyway, coming from us, it won't really count. But maybe if Dan sends
Sh-
it and they can verify it's Dan,
Sure.
then maybe it'll actually get updated.
Proof of Dan.
Right? We don't have this. One of the we don't have a foundation. We don't have a core authority in this decentralized. We're too decentralized. Now, who listens to us? These vagabonds. I'm a member of EOS. Let me update your profile description.
There you go.
I don't think it'd work. So anyway, that's one thing that we could talk about. But bottom line is there'll be open channel, Zoom setup. Mark's going to update the calendar so anybody can see it, and then hopefully we talk about some of these framework topics like chief marketing stuff, or EOS support, and just a chance to collaborate and work through things that we're working on.
Sounds awesome. Are you talking 5 days a week?
5 days a week. Solid commitment. Josh and I, we may not both be on every single one, but I think we'll try. Like, I'm at my desk. I used to have a job where I'd sit here, so I might as well just do this.
I want to see like an intro where you and Josh and anyone else that you want to just keep splicing into the intro video just comes in and like punches in with like using an old school
Okay.
paper punch. You clock into office hours and then
I could do that as part of the intro. Most of my intro
Yeah.
work has been skins that are basically already existing from the video editing software I'm using. I'm not creating
Right.
custom intros. That's a bit too lavish for my ability and appetite for
time and
time use. Yeah.
Well, cool. Wow, we've got all of 4 folks in here. Matthew's been mighty quiet. He's also just probably
Working. Those
listening
EOS
while-
Nation guys, they get so
while
much done.
working.
They just want to listen to something other than the radio. So you can listen to us like it's the radio.
I'm working on the validator code at the moment.
Ooh.
That's all.
Sounds.
So yes, just listening in instead of music. So
Hey, we're here for you. We'll
That's
try not to
awesome.
distract you by saying your name randomly, because that's always the worst thing. Because you can hear people talking, blah blah, and all of a sudden your name, it's like, it draws you right over to what was that?
Yep. True.
And then having a very
So
common name doesn't help. Do you go by Matt or Matthew?
Matthew.
For Matthew? Okay.
In my
Matthew.
grade 9 French class, there was 5 Matthews.
oh my
wow.
God.
So you all went by. So you were Darwin for that year.
Yeah, I don't know what we did, but we didn't sit next to each other in the class. So teacher.
Yeah. So pointing worked.
Yeah.
I had a lot of that with Chris. A lot of Chris's. It was common for my age, and we always it's just last name. All my friends would call me Barnes or Barnesy. It was never Chris.
Same with Lovejoy.
A lot of Brandons.
Except I had 2. He had an older sister. So
Older sister. How old?
yeah.
Like how much
Well, I
older?
actually have 2 older sisters. So one is 3 years older and one is 11 years older.
So the 3-year-older one
Yeah.
would have been more interesting come like high school. You're like grade
Yeah,
9.
I was freshman, she was senior.
That was useful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she'd have like
Brutal,
slumber
too.
parties, and you'd be like listening to the door. You don't have to. This is being recorded. Don't answer that question.
It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah. Eden Guardian. This is an interesting. Hello, Eden Guardian. Love your name. You can chat, type it. I'll read it if you don't want to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Or we're getting trolled. You've changed your name to be appropriate to make us think you're a friend, but you're not. Making some tea.
Let's see here. Yep,
Tea-
we got
teeing
some
it
tea
up?
going here.
Are you bathing?
It's still
the
tea
dragon?
o'clock. That sounds like a euphemism for something, but yes, it's like a dragon here.
I'm bathing the dragon. What do you call it?
I don't know.
Is there caffeine in your tea though, or is this a decaffeinated type, so you can just kind of drink it all day and not have to be hopped up?
It's pu'er, so it's caffeinated, but it's like for me, it doesn't matter. I can drink
Pu'er.
this all day and still go to sleep at night.
It's another new word. How do you spell that? What's that one? Pu'er. Glom.
No, I
and
mean
pu'er.
it's a it's a transliteration from the Chinese, so it's like often spelled as like PU apostrophe ER. Sometimes spelled PU hyphen EHR. It depends on who's doing the conversion to the Roman alphabet.
Got it. Pu'er. But it means it does have caffeine. Is that what that means?
Yeah, it's caffeinated. It's tea. It's unmaligned, unadulterated tea. but aged
Pu'er
in cakes typically.
or pu'er is a variety of fermented tea traditionally produced by the produced in Yunnan province, China.
Yunnan.
Yunnan. Cool.
Mhm.
Fermented. Huh.
Yeah. um, I could give you like the
I know.
whole story of Poir, but I don't know if that's like the topic of the. We should start a
It's
separate.
it's bringing you back to previous employment, right? You were running a
Yeah,
tea shop.
yeah. I
But yeah,
used to do.
totally off topic. So what else do you want to know about in terms of eating stuff that you might have missed? Maybe I'll know the answer.
Hmm. Well, what was your like
Oh,
key
it's
takeaway from
Patrick.
that?
Tricky name. He's back to himself. You are the eating
Patrick's
guardian,
back.
Patrick. What were you saying then?
Um,
Sorry.
yeah, just that. I listened to the interview, the chat with you and Dan and the board,
Hmm.
and thought it was awesome. And I really want to mine some of that for. There's great little segments that could be cut out of that. Um, I think you all hit on some really cool points throughout that. Um,
Yeah. Earthman's been
with a
starting
little
to pick apart some of it too and post it
Oh, good,
on his channel.
good. What was your main takeaway from that that first? Because it's kind of like your first interaction with Dan in a sense, like head to head, wasn't it? Or no?
Well, no, yes, kind of in that context. I felt like I got to actually know Dan a little bit as a human, as opposed
Mm.
to the robot that is Dan sometimes as well. But I have interacted with him before from there was a fireside chat after the first election where it was Manfredi, Dan, I thought you, maybe somebody else. There was 4 people on. And so
Yeah,
there
I
was
think I was.
some questions there, but that was, I don't know, it felt less personal. This was yeah, it felt nice. It was good to get to know Dan. There was a couple moments, I actually cut it out of the edited, like the final video, where he sort of lost his train of thought. And it was like yeah, it just felt like there's the giggle, like there's just the regular guy right there. So I really enjoyed it. And I liked the back
Nice.
and forth. He asked some great questions. And I even started the whole thing with like, is there anything off the like that we shouldn't go into? Like, is there any sensitive topics? Just to be respectful. You don't want to put someone on the spot, especially who
Hmm.
has a lot of spotlight. And he doesn't. No, anybody who thinks that Dan's got some agenda and hiding things, he had nothing. He's like, no, just no worries. Anything is fair game. So I thought that was pretty cool. But
Yeah.
in terms of takeaways, other than just his personality, was that he was very confident about funding, which is awesome to hear because I know that's a lot of people are sort of waiting. What's now the timing? Is it when we do an official election? Is it 1,000 people? Blah blah blah. And so it was nice to kind of have that discussed and that things we could be doing in a first official election come September is what he was hoping, which would be pretty awesome. That's month and a half, say mid-September. I guess we'll find out more too tomorrow with Fancher because he'll give us an update on progress from Clarion.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'll be nice. I gotta
yeah.
pop that on the calendar actually. More. I can't do that or you won't be able to see my face. The broken laptop is killing me.
When do you get delivery
Someday.
of the next one?
8 days. T minus 8 days.
Shipping, yeah. Things are pretty slow to get to, I guess, in middle of nowhere, Minnesota. So,
I don't think it's the location so much as the origin and the or the destination so much as the origin and just
okay.
crazy supply chain shit going on these days.
So you think that's related? Interesting. Supply chain affecting your order of this laptop.
I mean, I think so. I mean, I ordered a very particular laptop with a lot of graphics processing power for video editing in particular. So it's not like the kind of thing that you're going to just find on the shelf. Like,
Okay.
Best Buy isn't going to stock it, so, or wherever isn't going to stock it. So it had to be probably assembled or found, and it wasn't close. So,
Wow. Sounds
but
like a
yeah,
nice unit. I look forward to seeing some really polished videos.
Yeah, I'm gonna do like really like epic graphics. Honestly, sometimes I watch commercials on television. I'll just watch commercials because I don't own a television, and it's really nice to see the latest.
Oh,
Ooh,
Mel's doing some dancing. Hello, Mr. Mark Shear. Hello, Mel. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
way to make an entrance.
We're just shooting the breeze.
I just come in from a salsa evening.
Salsa,
what?
you're a dancer.
Yeah, I love a bit of dancing. Yeah, I'm not that great at it, but
Oh,
it's,
no. Don't be
it's all
modest.
it's all about the women, isn't it?
Yeah, just want to shake your hips.
So what have I missed?
We're catching.
God.
Lovejoy's been away out of the scene for a while. He took a break, and so
Yeah.
I've been catching him up on some of the events related to Eden this past week or so, which really
Yeah.
not a whole lot. And then we were just talking about the last fireside chat with Dan and the chief delegates, as we're now called. Not the
Yeah,
board.
where'd that originate from? The chief, the name, the
Uh,
nomenclature.
Man, Freddie sent it in a Telegram chat to us, by the way. Or I forget how he worded it, but he just sort of mentioned that the new title is going to be chief delegates. Which
Alright.
I like the idea of delegates, where delegates as opposed to voted represented, like even just removing the word vote from the whole Eden process seems to be the better way to go.
Yeah.
You're delegating as opposed to voting, I think. But
I thought that was a really good point. Whoever made that, and maybe it was you during the, and you and Dan, or multiple people, but yeah, it's explicitly not voting.
Yeah.
There's really like no point at which, I mean, there's kind of like a raising of hands to determine, a consensus, but it just seems reductive to a point of being completely misleading almost.
yeah, it just stirs up people's opinions. Or I mean, words are funny, right? Like, everyone's got their own subjective. That's why I get hung up in a lot of conversations defining words as we go because I don't do it here very often, but with my wife especially, because it's like we're not seeing the same thing because we're using words that don't mean like so vote. You say the word vote, people are going to associate every single thing they think about modern democracies and voting. As soon as you say that, they're going to then, Eden is like this because you said the word vote. But if you say delegate or something, then you don't elicit those types of feelings, and you can maybe have a better, more meaningful conversation in terms of like trying to get the idea across.
I can tell you one
Definitely.
Yeah,
most
Matt?
challenging parts of software development sometimes is just coming up with the language to put in the UI. What is the right term so you get the right message across? And I've been in meeting after meeting and after meeting to define one pull down menu item because nobody knows what it should be. Right? The code has been written, it's committed, everything, but we need the label.
Wow.
Yeah, because
it's so much more ambiguous than code.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you have to understand, okay, how do you communicate to this? It's in English, but not all the users are English, or that's not their primary language. Then you need to make sure it's clear, but then get the message. It's like, anyway.
Yeah.
Like
EOS
one
Nation.
word, go.
Yeah. And EOS Nations, you guys are, most of your team probably French first language, right?
We have multiple languages. I wouldn't say, I guess most, yeah.
Or French. It's not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. I'm Canadian, so I'm vive le Quebec. I lived in Quebec for 3 years, and it was very friendly. When I lived, so some parts of Quebec, I don't know if you may not know. I mean, these guys, I don't want to know. I'm not talking bad about Quebec, but there is a very strong sense of culture and identity associated with the French language in the province of Quebec in Canada. So there's some Ontario people would, they have like a negative opinion. And there's also like hockey rivalry, the Montreal Canadiens, Toronto Maple Leafs. There's like this kind of rivalrous sort of approach from some Ontarians, I think, and just some Canadians in general towards Quebec. But when I lived in Quebec for 3 years, and I thought it was awesome. The people in where I was were super accommodating. I would attempt really broken French and they just respond to me in English. So like,
yeah, but you attempted, that was the That's the key thing, right? You have to start in
Mm.
French, then you stumble over it.
Yeah.
Then you can switch to English. But if you just start in English, no.
That's
Mm.
disrespectful. I don't get why
That's
people
right.
do that.
Mhm.
It's like,
Yeah,
what's the
exactly.
arrogance? Like, you're in a place, you know, everyone here is French first language for the most part. Like, there's a couple little towns, Hope Town and stuff or whatever, where near I was, that were first language. But you still, it's just respectful. You just try. So yeah, I'm with you, Matthew. I don't know why people would show up and just assume everyone's just going to talk to you, and you come across like a dickhead anyway. when you start and you talk louder in English, like that would help.
Yeah. Show up at somebody's house and just be like, "Hi, I don't speak French, so what's
You
for
know.
dinner?"
Yeah.
You know. Well, I said, "What's for dinner?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was good. I actually, when I first, it was in the Gaspésie, so you guys know where that is, but so it's like the eastern part of Quebec, Brandon. And it's like on the Atlantic Ocean, and it's this little peninsula, kind of like it's a little formation, and I was there for 3 months, and I moved there to work on wind turbines, and for the first 3 months I was there by myself. Like, my girlfriend, who's now my wife, didn't come with me, and I stayed at a bed and breakfast, also known as a gîte. And then the guy there, though, nice guy, English was not very good. I was getting headaches every day from trying to speak French, and like, just like, it was like hard on your brain. And then I had read some statistic that says if you're more than monolingual, so you speak like 2 or 3 languages, you'll have it delays the potential onset of Alzheimer's. Right. So I think that's a pretty well known fact now. If you speak more than one language, your brain is stronger, more brain muscles being used, and it prevents degeneration later on.
Does it count for programming languages too? We speak,
I think so.
10 programming languages.
I think it counts, man. Yeah, because it's like using your brain. Yeah, why not? Right? You have to verbal, and there's like a certain skill. Like, it's like they say, kids can learn other languages much easier than grown-ups, and so why is that? Like, well, it's the malleability of their brain. But once you can learn a couple languages as a kid, it becomes easier to learn even more when you're grown up. So I think it's a good way to have your brain patterned and conditioned to be able to pick up multiple languages. Totally off topic. We got more people. We got
I agree with
Eddie, Sky. Sky, that's a new name, or like a new, unless you've got someone we recognize with a different username. But feel free to introduce yourself if you're new to the community and are interested in Eden. No pressure. You just chat too. All good. Mr. Mark Shear, how's life with you, man? I see you got my reoccurring call, and this one's going to be reoccurring too. So I'm going to send you.
I haven't been on mute this whole time. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now. Yeah.
We can hear you now.
Well, I'll be darned. Okay, so apparently you could hear me the whole time because
No.
I've not been on mute.
We're not trying to be rude and talk over you.
I was just being extremely quiet, basically.
Yeah. So how's life?
It's good. It's good. Got so how is EOS and Eden life? And the answer would be something along the lines of I got a bullish email. We've got a just back end work on the sort of Eden, just maintenance pieces, and let's see what else is interesting. I think there's not really much going on, but the bullish is taking center stage for me. So I want an email by 3 a.m. tonight.
Yeah.
And that's when we open up and start trading. And my goal to win $100,000 or $50,000 or $25,000. Haha. I just want to test that shit. But if I'm going to test it, I may as well try to win it, which that's the thing is the bullish.com. It's a game. They've gamified it. I just don't know. So basically,
tell us.
Yeah, they basically send us an email a week ago that says it's on. So 2 hours afterwards, they've accepted all X number of people and you're going to have to wait. Okay, no problem. Apparently, you got to be there at 7:01 instead of 9:01, which is fine with me. So I put in and they say, oh, by the way, order a free key, UB key. And I thought, well, I have a UB key from B1 June. And they say, well, we have 2 types. But I said, well, I like the second type, but that's sold out. And I was like, I think I have the first type, but it's coming free anyway if you order it. So I was like, send it.
Why not?
So here it is a week later. I don't have the YubiKey, but I have my B1 June key. And I also ordered one from Amazon that goes into my Mac because that's different from both of those other two keys. So I'm really happy. I'm set up at 3 a.m. And also I read on the email something along the lines of a YubiKey is just kind of an authenticator piece. They call it something fancy, but the same thing as the chip in your
The WebAuthn. Yeah.
WebAuthn iOS device.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I think I'm going to skip the YubiKey altogether because I can handle my bubblegum with security in general, for the most part, sufficiently to surf the wave of not going with a physical YubiKey. But then I'm like, do I want to test the YubiKey? So I think, I don't know, man. I want Bullish to go smooth, which means if I can do it on mobile, whenever I'm on mobile, that's a lot easier for me. But I want to test the YubiKey side too. So, but that's going to be a big learning curve thing. I think I just want to get on Bullish and play that game because here's the deal. Hit them early and hit them hard with the moonshot. Because if you're going to win $100,000 or be number 1, 2, or 3 for 50 and 25,000, the only way you're going to do that is by just smashing through with huge risk, basically trading bets. So my cousin, yeah, go ahead, Mel.
So what are you going to do with 100K anyway? Once you've won it, we won't see you again, will we?
Yeah, the answer to that is technically is the word they say false, because it's based on the assumption that I would have already got a plan.
No plan.
100, give me the money. just let me log into bullish.com. That's honest right there, man. All I want to do is log into Bullish and go.
It sounds like a man who doesn't need the money.
Especially I don't go after gambling with the, come one, come all, you might win the top pot, man. That's like crypto. What is that? Like prize pool, advertising or whatever. I was so like, I'm the most turned off of that. Ring a duck, win a bunny, give me $50 and you may win 500.
Bring a duck, win a bunny. I've never heard anyone say that before.
Yeah, I heard it at a fair when I was about 9 years old, and I memorized it ever since. That crazy Eden background thing. We got to have.
Can't do it.
I know. I want to see it, Brandon. I want to see it bad.
What
is the YubiKey from? It's the block 1 YubiKey from B1 June, but I can't bring it too close, or it.
So
I haven't even taken out of the.
So you went to B1 June, Brandon. Mark, you went to B1 June too. So that was a big, because that was in New York, wasn't it?
Washington, D.C.
So you trekked up there from Florida to go to that. Hey, Mark.
Oh,
you're on mute again, dude. Eddie, did you go to B1 June?
I did, and I wasn't invited, and I still got a YubiKey.
Nice.
And that's where me and Eddie met. Remember that? We hung for an hour.
You got an official invite though, right?
Yeah, I worked on it though, man. I hit them hard early on, and then I chiseled away, added another friend and a second friend on the back end going, let's go. And they came right on through at the very end, and we walked in, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Eddie, the fact that you crashed B1 June is even more impressive than just getting an invite. So.
Well, I guess it was an open invite to the Everything EOS pre-party thing.
Oh yeah, that was bonkers.
Brandon showed up and said everybody could come, so that was nice. It was an impressive display, just the presentation.
Yeah, I remember that Brandon Bloomer was wasted. He's like, everybody can come.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. Just because it's so absurd. It's such an absurd.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was like, way out of left field there.
I kind of felt like there was a security guy like feeling me out before the show, before they said that. Just felt odd. And I would imagine they screened everybody they invited, and then I just randomly show up. Kind of throws a gear in their security, I would imagine. But I think it was just me and one other guy or two that weren't invited but could win.
Great hors d'oeuvres.
Good.
Yeah. They even had nice cocktails.
Headset.
They had good headset. Heady Eddie
peak,
headset.
That was peak Brendan Bloomer love, and it's gone downhill ever since, I imagine.
Peak hype. Yeah.
Yeah. Peak respect for Bloomer, and now it's less. Oh yeah, that's pretty sweet, Mark. I saw the the headphones are amazing. They're the Bose noise canceling with like an etched in logo, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are sweet. Those are great.
They can't. They're invisible on camera.
Yeah, there's the etched in logo. I'm gonna like make my own logo. I've got a pair of those headphones too. I love them, but I don't have the logo.
Good.
So
You should
they're
put a
not as good.
logo on there. You should put a B1 June logo on that.
I was wondering if the bullish ones would be engraved.
This is the one for my Mac.
Tiny.
Wow, tiny.
So does that mean when we trial out this bullish now, because I got the invite too, I got to do it only on my cell phone? I have to use
That's kind of what I wanted to clear the air with that huge, lengthy intro to the subject. I think we can do it with just our mobile device. And I'm debating on, do I want to go YubiKey route? That sounds really cool, but I can learn that later. What I'd rather do is just get on the site and crush it. Like every time I have my phone in my hand, if I feel like it, log in, play around, beat it up,
make a trade.
Trade.
How do you win this competition though? So if we all have 500K to start with or whatever, is it just the price just following some other price signal from other exchanges that have actual, and then we're not obviously going to move the market, so we can buy some shit coin, but we won't move it. Like, I wonder how that's going to play out, or I guess what tokens are available even.
Yeah, right. I want the shittiest coin, and I want to like pump it or something, and maybe win 100,000.
You're gonna spend 200 grand to pump it up, yeah?
It's fake money though. It's funny money. It's
funny money.
Yeah.
I was about to say, what is this 500K?
I thought I read that's what you start
money?
with. It's just fake. Yeah, they're just going to give you a dummy account to like trade on bullish, and then whoever makes the most profit or something gets actual money prize.
Nice.
I don't think I've gotten an invite yet. I feel sad.
Hey, what time did you put it in that day it was released? Remember?
I was right on it.
You have to request it.
Yeah, you had to request it.
I think
for the YubiKey, I think you did. Right.
Oh, the YubiKey I requested, but and I got a confirmation, but I didn't get an invite to the platform.
I don't have the invite either. I got the email that said basically it says it's us a date of tomorrow at about 3 a.m. Central Time. So it says, hello, you've been accepted into the Bullish Exchange Pilot Program. Starting at 9 a.m. GMT on Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. This happened yesterday. This happened this morning. Oh, excuse me. This is Friday.
Yeah. 9 a.m. GMT Tuesday, you can gain access.
That's right. Thank you. So you got the same email, Chris?
I did.
Okay, good.
Am I ready to be bullish? Hell yeah, I am.
Yeah, we've been ready.
Does it mean the EOS price gets to go up? Really? Because that's kind of my main.
We've lost all that luster. It's like I've never seen something as dead as this in my life, but they got a lot of money on this thing, and I'm like, it's pretty cool. It may work out. There's still a chance.
Let's hope it's just not a whole lot of polish on a turd.
I can't imagine. I think it's going to be badass, man. I'm telling people, I'm like, watch out. They're gunning for Coinbase and Binance.
Yeah, I just hope like hell there's some sort of spillover for EOS. Like, just give us something.
Hey, Patrick.
Hello, guys. Hello.
He can't resist now. You got him all fired up. I can tell.
The Swiss bull.
This is like blood in the water now. He's like
Swiss bull.
Yeah. Salut. Hello. Alles Gute. Dry languages for you. Okay.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, we're good. Shoot the breeze.
You are bullish. You are bullish on EOS. Okay.
Talking about the exchange. Yeah. It also says to win the money.
I speak. We are bullish on EOS without bullish.
Wow.
We don't need bullish global to be bullish on EOS.
No, it just helps.
That just helps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's hard to imagine it hurting.
Yeah.
But I suppose there's some way to do that.
If they,
Yeah,
it
knock
can't.
on wood.
Yeah. If it doesn't give any, if it is a total, like there's no small cap coins on there, like not even checks, which surely they'll have checks on there right away.
That'd be insane. Yeah, there is no way in creation.
So, and that could be bad. Like if it turns out they launch it come September after the 7-week trial's over, and people realize, and there's no real nothing, then it might actually hurt the EOS price. Who knows?
You know, the reason all this has taken so long to ship anything that's less than like the slickest shit, why we haven't seen anything. So when they finally do launch something, I'm pretty convinced it's going to be knock your socks off.
It's got to be right. I mean,
Amazing.
There may be a couple hiccups, but
I mean, voice didn't go too great, did it? So hopefully they're going to make this the right one. Make the effort getting this right. Obviously, they've left it longer than we'd hoped, but it's best to leave it later than and release it too early, and it's not right.
Well, this way they get first and third mover advantage. You know.
And wouldn't it be funny if like voice ends up blowing them away, like NFT platform out of nowhere? Like
that'd be hilarious.
Totally possible.
A lot of things are coming. Nice. Mel, you seem very bullish. Huh? You seem very bullish. I see you, or your face, very bullish. Yeah.
It's always bullish.
Joker.
I'm a joker.
No,
I'm going to come over to Switzerland and roll you down that mountain. I said I'm going to come to Switzerland and roll you down the mountain.
Yeah, I was in the mountain first August. Yeah, that was the Swiss National Day by us. Yeah. Yes, National Day, not Independence Day, but Swiss National Day for sure. Yeah, I was in the mountain eating a fondue.
Lovely. You've been watching the Olympics.
Eating a fondue.
Yeah,
watching the
my lovely
Olympics.
wife since 18 years. So yeah, I'm very happy with my wife. I am most happier man in the world, you know. I am bullish always, you know. I wake up bullish. I go into the bed bullish.
I bet you do. Too much information.
No. TMI. Yeah, I love this saying.
Eden OS is bullish. Yeah, that's just bullish. Eden OS. I am very happy with Eden OS for sure. Continuing to do my stuff, marketing all the time, and developing my stuff coming in Q4 2021. At the same time, we can develop on EOS. For the people that are watching this, you can develop on EOS. You can develop with EOS.io.
Don't tell that to Adriana.
Oh, I wake up bullish. Who was written that?
Brendan.
Brandon has written for me. Okay. Thank you. Yeah, at least it's written correctly in English. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you speak about the multiple languages. Yeah, it's in Switzerland we can speak multiple languages because it is like that. You speak German, Swiss French, so French basically, English for working. You speak always English. Yeah.
Italian,
and you miss something.
Did I?
Romanche is a mix of French, German, and Italian. It's a melting pot. Yeah, so it's Switzerland. It's special, you know.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been to Sweden. Switzerland.
Switzerland is a big ball, you know. It's a big ball in the world. It's scary and at the same time very beautiful. Yes.
Yes. Lake Geneva's nice.
Geneva, all the scary things there. And beautiful jello. Nice.
Anyway, are we getting back onto the subject?
Yeah, what is the subject here? We can speak of
Well,
what we want.
for me, obviously, bullish is what we're talking about, but I'd like to talk more about voice, where that's going. Obviously, it's doing a complete sort of pivot, going down a different road to what it was, and it seemed a bit of a shame how it was running quite well. A lot of people were using it, and they just stopped it and then announced it was going to be something completely different. Do you understand?
About what?
Yeah, full pivot. And full pivot. And it is what it is. Like you say, right? We just kind of have to see what they. Apparently, it's soon. I've seen some tweets from Salah that it'll be this month. Like
Salah seems quite switched on, actually. That guy.
Yeah, voice is not the point now. Yeah.
Yep.
It's an NFT platform. You know, it's no more voice. It's just an NFT platform, and the voice we have on Eden. So that's the real voice. You voice it on Eden. You go to the next round. You voice it.
Yeah,
on voice, it's an NFT platform. It's just an NFT platform. So.
Yeah, I wonder how much they've reused from voice. Because I mean, you could have the auction, like pretty much the exact same setup, but posting NFTs pretty much.
Because most of the work they did last year was on just the technology.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to create your own NFT platform like .gems from EOS Nation, they are creating their NFT platform. Lars Kominetsu Spat from EOS Detroit is creating his NFT platform for facings.
Facings, yeah.
And Blue Crypto with Wax, he has his NFT platform with Uplift.art and Legend.art. So basically what will be giving voice, it will give you a public platform to make your NFTs. So, but it's not so, wait 3 years to have that. No, since June 2019, we are waiting for voice. Washington, D.C., the 1st of June, B1 June. We are waiting for this voice.
Do you think these NFTs will be just a means of promoting artwork and music? Do you think
No, not only because the voice platform, you can upload PDF, normal document. You can make an NFT of your let's say legal documents, like WordProof. WordProof with Sebastian.
Yeah. I know WordProof. Yeah.
Yeah, you know WordProof. They are doing timestamping, and they are attaching with it, the NFTs with it, because the timestamping without the NFTs, that makes no sense. So the NFTs, it's the final proof. NFTs is very nice, it's very good. And it's not just for artwork and for music, it's also for legal document. NDA. Instead to do an NDA paper, NDA, before I talk you about my project, I have to do an NDA with you, Mel. We cannot work together. I do an NFT. I do an NFT. It's the perfect proof.
What about escrow? Escrow. Do you reckon it'll work that?
Yeah.
So like a NFT creator and all sorts of tools built in.
Exactly.
Yeah, no standards yet, so we're creating them, and I love listening to Patrick saying, "Let's stamp it on an NFT real quick and get this contract underway." And that's what I wanted to use voice for, and be able to just streamline anything that I wanted to express and own. And I wanted to put a Amazon.com sticker on that page for the future and start tallying up clicks. And I owned a Dan Larimer post, and then I owned a Brock Pierce post. And I was like, I can't wait till voice launches because I'm going to have the advertising revenue for that intellectual capital. And then they took all our data offline and handed it to us in a JSON file. I say, okay, well, it would be a nice gift if they reinstituted the original voice stuff so that they would we at least be able to publish it in some kind of a format and create NFTs out of them all. But I don't think it's going to happen.
You can download it, or can't you? Your data, you can download what you put up on Voice.
Yeah,
so
but
I've been
I
told.
don't know, man. I don't think I own those posts anymore.
Ah.
No, it's totally pivoted. It's an NFT platform. It's no more a voice. The Clarion platform will be a kind of voice. And it is Dan Larimer. It is no more with Block One. So he will create exactly the voice that he will create. It's with the Clarion OS. So what I am very bullish now, it's the Clarion OS, the Eden OS, and the Edge OS of Tap Network. This is the three OS that I am very bullish for collaborative ecosystems. We need that. We need that. Because if you are a developer and you want to create your startup today with EOS, it's complicated, very complicated. I say that because I have mine. So, and if you want to develop something on EOS, development on EOS, you are totally crazy because you are totally facing to the operating system. And the operating system is always changing. So you are better to go with a middleware like the DApp network, and you create your solution. And the beauty that the DApp network is connected with the EOS mainnet. All is going to the EOS mainnet at the end. So there is no tribalism, no maximalism. And at Ethereum, we are always thinking, oh, we are the killer of Ethereum, but it is not the case. We are able to onboard Ethereum with us. And there are the most liquidity there. We have to be honest. There are a lot of liquidity in Ethereum. And for this reason, the Bancor network has onboarded the DApp token whitelisted, because there is a lot of liquidity into Ethereum. But that doesn't mean that the DApp network of Zach Gold, I say for Zach Gold, no, sorry, it's totally a DAC. DApp network is a DAC. It's totally separated of liquid apps. But I say Zach Gold, Benny Akak, and Tal Muscal, because they are the three guys, and they want what? They want that we can succeed at the end, multi-chain. So I'm totally bullish for the DApp network, Clarion OS, Edge OS, and Eden
Do we have any
OS.
timelines on Clarion?
Clarion, we don't hear a lot of Clarion because they are doing that very.
They're working on Eden, aren't they? EOS, Eden OS.
But Clarion team is working for Eden.
We'll have an update from Brandon Fancher tomorrow. He'll be on. So I'll be doing that. And then they're on track. Basically, the next big update, the next big piece of code that will come forward is organizing the budget and how the budget will be dispersed to various accounts. So basically, it's smart contracting the whole financial piece of the Eden treasury, essentially. So, which is awesome, because that is what is going to provide assurance to those who are going to potentially fund that treasury to know it's just not going to get dumped out and scammed, basically, right? So in that, you probably heard now, like the 5% allocation per month. That was the most recent number that Dan told us about, that it would be, and I think I've heard from numerous, that's come up a bunch of times. So I think that's pretty fixed. It would be 5% of the total treasury is what's released month by month, and that will be.
I didn't hear that. Yeah,
so 5%. Say it's say it's $1 million, so 50 grand, right? Yeah, 5%, 50 grand. 50 grand would be per month given to Eden, and then that 50 grand gets split amongst the respective layers. Say there's 5 layers to keep, because there might be that many layers.
Yeah.
First layer is the sortition winner. He gets 1/5, so he'll get 10 grand for that month. The second layer would be, say, if it's the same breakdown we have now, you'd be 3 people, so they'd get 10 grand divided by 3. The next layer below that, you might have 16 people, and then 10 grand divided by 16. And so depending on how many layers, they each get up there, that equal share of the total monthly allotment. And that just happens every month.
Nice.
But that's smart contract, so there's no fuckery.
So where is that money coming from initially?
So we don't know, right? That's the big question. Could be RAM fees, could be inflation, could be Block One. Those are in terms of like the largest donors of sorts. Those are the big ones, right? Inflation's a big one. RAM fees, that money's just sitting there not being used.
I know there was some sort of discussions with the BPs, or supposedly, I think yourself was going to be speaking to the BPs. I don't know how far that's progressed.
So my discussion with BPs is about the proxy. So I am not really. I'm not attempting to talk about that. Like that's not in
the actual inflation. No.
No, I'm not going there. It's not my intention with the proxy and interaction with the BPs are to just learn about them and then create content that the rest of the community can also learn about the BPs. That's it. I'm not passing judgment on anything they do. I'm not looking into anything contentious.
It's a communication path, isn't it?
Yeah, I can get there later. If I can get into the nitty-gritty later on. But for now, it's like let's just open hand. I'm a nice guy. I'm just going to assume you're a nice BP. Let's just talk. Here's some very basic questions for you to answer that I'm going to do a video on. And there's no gotcha moments. And so I did Edgar from EOS Costa Rica already this morning. I'll have that video hopefully up tomorrow. And that'll be the first of many. And then I'll try to go, EOS Vincent's on. I'm going to do EOS Nation. I'm sure they'll be up for it. I'll get, Grey Mass, EOS Dublin, all the friendly faces, the people that I know.
What about the Asia side? Sort of China and places like that.
That's coming. Yep. So that's on the hit list. So first I want to do a bunch of videos on the Western ones. So because I'll get better at doing the interview, although it's the same questions. I'm doing the same questions over and over, but I want to have a bunch of examples to show the East. Say here, this is what I'm trying to do.
Right.
And I have made friends with a few of the Eastern BPs already. So I've got connections that will set me up with about 8 of them. That hopefully, if they're open to this, and language barrier, maybe a translator, and I'll try my very best to be accommodating time zone wise and whatever I can do. I just want to extend a hand and help break down some of this lack of communication. That's it. So anything to do with inflation, not even a question, not even asking, not even gonna bring it up. So
okay.
That's Dan. Dan's got that. Yeah, Dan's been on that. That's been Dan from the very beginning has indicated that he is handling this. And so I believe him that he's working on it, and whether funding, however it works out, who's to say?
You never know. We might get some from Block One.
That's right. Yeah, and Dan made the point on the last fireside chat it was last week, I guess. He made the point that even if the BPs turned on inflation for just a year, they could then turn it off. Like you could just turn on inflation for a bit. It'll build a treasury that only 5% gets pulled from every month. Like, so technically this treasury is going to get gigantic because you're pulling only 5% a month. It's going to build faster than it's being depleted. So either we're going to have to so you could turn it off. You could say, okay, now we've got enough in the treasury to run us for a year. Let's just turn off inflation.
Yeah, I like that idea. It makes sense because obviously return of ROI, you can get the business, whatever projects you run in, obviously, hopefully after a year, they'll be returning some of the money invested in. So that would hopefully build the pot back up again. Yeah.
And it gives us a chance to test. Yeah, that's the whole. I don't understand. I honestly do not understand how the BPs would be reluctant to this idea. We haven't fucked the system yet. Like, obviously it's still working. And so it's hard to game. I think everybody can agree with that. And even if you did game it, you'd only get 5% a month that would be pulled from whatever they allow us to have. And they can just turn it off later, like 15 to 21. They can just say no more. We're no longer funding that account. Sorry, it turns out it's been captured. Okay, where's the loss? And then, but turn it on and try it. And if all of a sudden Grey Mass gets funded, wallets get improved, standards get implemented, like it'd be pretty obvious when things start going well, and that should benefit a BP who gets paid in EOS. Obviously, they want the EOS price to go up if that's how they're making their money, and even for whales, right? Like, so I just don't get the argument that they could potentially have to be reluctant to do this, other than just not trusting the system. So, and that's what Dan said too. Go ahead.
Might be able to get me project voting portal up and running then.
Well, eventually, yeah, of course. I mean, if that's only a 2,000 EOS job and there's 2.5 million EOS in the pot, that's a pretty easy proposal to get up and running, right? I think the biggest thing with that proposal that I had then, have listened to a few people mention is just the potential redundancy with other stuff that's going to exist. So, cart for the horse, be efficient. Yeah, right. So I think that, and I understand that mentality. But what else is I going to say about Dan?
There was a lot of talk about Pomelo. I kept hearing a little here and there this week. Is that going live sometime in the next month?
It's supposed to be the end of the year, isn't it? By the end of the year, Q3, Q4.
August.
Yep.
I heard August about
Yeah.
3 months ago.
No, big in
Yeah.
fall. Big in fall.
Yeah,
Early fall.
there'll be a trial. I think there'll be a smaller amount in a test that'll come first, and then but in the most recent EOS Hot Sauce, Daniel Keys did indicate that they were still on track for completing it
Yeah.
this year.
Okay, so
Yeah,
it's this
I have
year.
interview with that, so it's early fall. So
Okay, early fall. Okay, so maybe as early as October.
it's not August for sure. It's not begin September. It's more end of September. You have
Yeah,
to.
he said September. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Totally.
Chris, question for Chris: what do you think the first funding stream will come from?
Like whether it's inflation or block one or whatever.
Inflation, block one, Eden BP, Eden
Or
proxy,
maybe someone from the community.
dues, or there was
I
one
think
more.
I think inflation will get turned on.
We never know.
Okay.
No, but he asked me what I guess. Yeah, I think inflation. I think the BPs have been. I think there's. Yeah, that's my guess. If I had to guess, I'd say BPs will turn on inflation. And
What percentage rate?
And
1.5.
That's all a Dan piece.
What percentage rate we're talking about? Do you think 1.5, 2%?
The ask has been 0.25, and that's so. What are the numbers? Is that how many EOS is that? That's 2.5 million EOS, right? Yeah, it is. This is billion tokens, roughly. So yeah, I'd say 0.25%. I say that's what gets turned on, and maybe more. Maybe there's more to this, and maybe they turn on more inflation and more things get funded. Maybe if they're going to do it, like if you're going to go through the trouble and have this happen, maybe more comes out of it. Maybe it's not just Eden. That's another option,
0.25 is
right?
pretty low, isn't it? That's nothing, is it?
Yeah, exactly. I know. In the world of monetary policy, 0.25% is sweet fuck all.
Ridiculously low. Yeah.
Now
Especially
the
compared to some of the other
before the money, very interesting to see now what is the involvement of the people into this Eden board member. And this is not only Josh, Chris, and Felix, and Amy. I am part of it. There are others. Mel also. Mel, you are in. So we will continue to do. However, that we were not elected into the current board member, we will do that because we love that. So now we will see the evolution and the induction. There seems to be like a stop now from the induction. It is still open, but there are not a lot of induction. But I have made a lot of induction. I will do only witness. So Mel, I will be maybe a witness for your invitees.
Three.
Thank you very much. But because I have invited a lot of people into this 150, and Dario also. So we have decided to be a little bit quiet. Otherwise, we see always our face. So we will do a little bit more quiet because. But how many people are we now? 150 members?
A bit more than that.
Yeah. Hey, Eddie, you were about to say something about the funding piece before we switch topics. I don't know if lose train of thought there.
I'm guessing they're going to just turn on inflation and not come out of the 1% that they're getting already.
Correct. That's right. Yeah, good question. Yeah, there's never been any suggestion that they would cut their own pay to then fund this. It would be in addition to the 1%.
Okay, so we get 0.25% of all the entire array. So it's 0.0025 of a billion.
Correct.
Annually, divided by 12, and then we get 5% of that.
Yep.
Month.
That's $10,500 a month.
So it'll go up the first month, but that would then ramp up because you get 5% every month, but then the amount in the treasury goes up by more than you're pulling.
Yes, not that much.
It's not much to start, no.
No. What about the original? Do you remember we had the load of coins that got burnt? We burnt a lot.
We sure did. Can we
could
unburn
we not bring them back?
No.
Unburn.
No. But what we could do is RAM fees. So maybe it's inflation and RAM fees. Maybe you do a lump sum of RAM fees, which I thought was like 1.6 million EOS. I'd heard some, or is it? Yeah, I think I've heard that number. Can anyone confirm what the RAM fees are holding? But it's something like, it's a big number. So maybe it's, here's a lump sum, and then we'll replenish with some inflation. That'd be cool. Or here's a lump sum, let's see what you do, and then we'll talk about inflation later. Also, that would work.
Yeah, that would be good that we can be paid a little bit, but if we wait on that, we will do nothing. So we have to continue.
I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit stuff that's been talked about for years getting developed. It's like you don't really have to have Eden ironed out completely to do the obvious stuff. Like
Exactly.
by the time it gets more complicated, you'll have a better system of filtering this out and finding a smaller consensus.
That's make 3 years that we have no Eden, and suddenly there is Eden now. So the people that were already okay to do, they will continue to do. They have not waited on Eden. So now there is Eden, and it is fine. I am happy with that, and I continue to do my stuff. That's changed nothing. No. But I have to be honest. If you have already a company behind, you can do some love money in your stuff. But if you have no revenue beside, if you are not paid, you cannot continue to do the stuff. So there are some people, they will not continue because they are not paid. That's very simple fact. Very simple fact. And there are others that continue because they are their own money. That's always like that. That's life. That's totally normal. I don't judge. It's totally normal. Mm-hmm. And that's sad because you are here in 3 years into EOS. You love EOS. You want to strive EOS, and you want to do the marketing. You want to do the stuff. But because who is better than us to do the marketing? This is us. The power is us. The time is us. All is us. Because if you are waiting on others to do marketing, you can wait, I think, until the end of the time.
Just reach.
You cannot expect anything.
We don't have much reach is the problem. So the reason why you'd pay someone else to do marketing is because they can reach 10,000 people or 100,000 people.
Yeah, and Felix this week, we don't speak about that, but Felix is beginning today with that, with Creator. He is giving 100 price.
$100
for, yeah. And he made a nice video about that. I don't know if you have seen. He has made a nice video. This video is not turning a lot on Twitter. That's very sad. Only some couple of views just for this video. It's very insane. Normally that should be more people that are retweeting, that are spreading the things, because you can do a beautiful video. And if it is not spread and if it is not retweet, that's make no effect, you know. Mm-hmm. Only into our community that's make effect because we know each other. But
there we go. I'll have to.
It is in French. In French, nice.
I'll connect them. Sorry, people. So actually, it won't matter because I'll sync it. Yeah. Okay. I imagine some people watch all these. We've got a new person, JJ Williamson. Or I feel like I recognize the name. Maybe not though. Welcome to introduce yourself if you're new or if you're not new and I've just forgotten the name.
John Williamson in Australia?
No, it's not John Williamson, I don't think. Or maybe it is. Is it early in the morning?
I think I know this guy.
It could be John.
Possible.
It's possible.
We are one, two.
If it is, it's very early for John because he's in Australia, so he would have just woken up.
3, 4, 5, 6. We are 8 people into this chat. Yeah. And always the same.
We're a tight-knit group. Developing bonds.
Yeah, for that, we have to spread the tweets around Twitter. Yeah. Twitter is a fantastic platform. We have to retweet all the tweets. All the tweets.
I got one for you. I dove in, well, didn't dive in, but I started introducing myself to the concept of anti-fragility. So if anyone's dove into the mechanics of Eden, then they would run across, say, about 5 to maybe 7 concepts, one of which is called anti-fragility. And so basically It's got some really cool concepts right out the gate, talking about taking randomness or chaos and using it as like a propulsion force. So where do we find creatures thriving in that kind of a like thrust mechanism? Like, how does the machine work? You know, so with Dan, he would say, well, we're not anti-fragilicists, but we do want to increase our anti-fragility.
Yeah.
You know, so it's an interesting piece of the Eden puzzle. But basically, and the book that captures it is called Anti-Fragile. It's probably worth an audiobook read or something to quickly get through that with a handful of concepts so that you can like put that into the matrix of Eden. Just thought I'd throw that out there. I finally ran into that. That was cool. More on that later once I have some context to say, here's an aspect of how we're using the fundamentals of anti-fragility that in Eden right now. You know, and I would think, okay, maybe that is with the just simply the randomness piece that we apply at the bottom layer of the election process. And that's just the election piece of Eden, because Dan delineates that Eden is a human coordination problem, and only one part of that is elections. The
Right.
electoral process is one part of it.
Hmm.
And so basically, he lists other parts of it gently, like by saying, you know, he would say electoral or voting systems, or he would say fragility, he'd say Pareto distribution of power, he would say dependency / independency, and then maybe we'll get another one or two. He would say moral hazard is even a chapter in the book. He would say a hierarchical or fractal approach toward electing a single person as a part of the electoral process. But you know, so what does the geometry of Eden look like? We got to build that little picture, and it's coming. I mean, we're all pretty committed to it. But it's an interesting subject. I think it's why we're here. I think that's about all the reason why we're here, is because it's cool. It's a human organization problem solving governance. You know, the problem is we're aiming to solve governance because we realize it's kind of a necessary piece of the puzzle. Governance. We act like Bitcoin's anonymous nodes is a solution, but I think we all know that there's thunder on the horizon. If you're going to hand the entire global economy over to anonymous nodes, when is the crash? You know, when is the crisis? And if it is a crisis, are they just going to fork Bitcoin and move on? And maybe it's not a problem. Maybe it's a good enough solution. Maybe it's a good enough governance solution. But for now, Dan will say, no, it's not a good enough governance solution. These groups, and you guys can see him say this in the last roundtable, or they called it a fireside chat, number 3.
Yeah.
Right after he defines the aim of Eden as solving the governance problem, he says, Ethereum, these other groups, they will see their day in court. They will see the problem with their governance. And I don't know if that's true, guys. He says that, okay? Dan Larimer says we can trust that they are going to have a problem with governance. And I agree with him, but I don't know. So
I think Clarion is a big chunk of this. I mean,
Yeah.
which I haven't even seen yet, but from what I hear, I mean, if it's very much from the ground up, where people can still communicate with who they want to,
This
and
is unique.
that's huge. And
This is a niche.
I
This is
think
unique.
Dan would
Very
say
unique.
that starts talking into terms of robust or anti-fragile social networks that rely on identity. So you're going to suddenly see 3 key words already pop up just with Clarion: social network, anti-fragile, identity. But that's not electoral, and it's not some other stuff like funding, like it's not EOS and our economy. But I think you nailed it, Eddie. Look, I think you're right. Clarion is a huge piece of the puzzle. Where does it fit in the geometry? Yeah.
the forkability of the Eden goals. It's like if it becomes captured, people can pull off and start their own little groups and talk. And I mean, I don't know how people in Ethereum are talking, but hopefully not just on Twitter.
What's the likelihood of other social media apps like Facebook, etc., wanting to sort of take a piece of this pie? I mean, obviously, Facebook's completely different. It's a centralized solution, isn't it? So I don't know how it be able to compete, but they wouldn't want to lose any business, and obviously that's completely going down a different route. But I'm wondering what your thoughts are on other social media, what their business plan would be.
I mean, to fight it until they can't fight it anymore, and then eventually try to build viewers. I just don't think they're going to give up that fight. They're going to want platforms they can censor and do all the things they're making money with now, you know.
They're very rich.
Ethereum is just only inflate money, speculative, foundation in crypto Zug Valley, in Zug in Switzerland, like Cardano. That's just inflate money. This is just about pseudo technology not finished, just on the paper. And EOS.io, this is finished. I would say, no, it's not finished, but we can already work with. So the software engineer can work with. So that's okay. And we have many blockchain, the EOS mainnet included. So what I think very interesting now with Eden is this holacracy framework, because that's the way to structurate the work. This holacracy framework, because we can play our roles without to be too much dependent on the others. That give you the chance to be independent and also to collaborate. And that's a good point, because in this community there are a lot of people that want to be independent. They want to do their stuff, continue to do their stuff, and with this framework you have the possibility to see where are the synergies, who do you want to collaborate. That's totally natural, and that's the beauty, I think, of this current Eden iteration where we are. We have a nice current board member. It's not just about the people that are in. This is about the intelligence behind. So we have a nice framework. We have all that together, putting together. And for me, that's the good way to go. And we don't see that in other blockchain ecosystem. We are the only one blockchain ecosystem with that.
I see it like a jigsaw puzzle. We've had lots of the pieces missing or mixed up, but now all the pieces are all coming together, and now we can see the picture.
Exactly, because let's focus on the videos. For example, you do a video, but you don't do that just for yourself. You do this video for the entire ecosystem, and by doing so, you give visibility to the other content creator. That's a win-win. That's a win-win. It's 1 + 1 = 3, we say, but 1 + 1 = 3. We know that since a long time, but now that's become concrete. That's become concrete because that's benefits the entire ecosystem. And it's collaboration. Dan Larimer was always stating from the beginning, we are not in the competition, we are in a co-petition for the block producer. He said that from the beginning, co-petition. And
yeah,
now,
I want to see how powerful that is. And I put a poll in 3 months ago to say, do you think that we'll have a metric to indicate how like a definitive step up in productivity based on the functions of Eden, affecting the group, the community? And everybody, 15 people said, yeah, they think they'll have hard metrics that show a step in productivity that would fall under the category of very powerful of a community.
Yeah.
If you can do this, but here it is 3 months from now, we're going to see, okay, how was the last 6 months? We say, was that a very distinctive metric? I'd say maybe, because of what we've all seen in the last 3 months have been pretty interesting. And so what about the next 6 months? How about after 1 full year, once we get the blockchain part of it rolling, as soon as I'd say the Eden OS, like I guess the blockchain function for the membership and the voting, but that's not Clarion. So maybe Clarion and that voting system gets up and running, and then we see that supreme, very powerful was the words that Dan Larimer said. He said, look, if you realign these energies of people and who they are, if you cooperate, if you institute a system of cooperation, cooperative solutions, then
I doubt he used that word.
No, he didn't.
Solutions?
No, he didn't. He said very powerful.
Okay.
If you do what he wants to do, the community will burst forth in a very powerful way, which I think what he meant was our productivity. We're going to be able to do whatever we want to do with a lot of leverage, because we're going to be operating from a standpoint of kind of more independence on an individual level and more freedom and like your unique expression, which is extremely valuable compared to the slave consciousness that's always looking at inward and saying, I have to scurry about. So if it changes, if we can increase independence and anti-fragility and so if we get the engine running, I want to know what it's like to feel a little less dependent personally.
Yeah.
So supposedly the theoreticals outline, according to Dan, I'd love to see the kind of theoretical images or math that he applies to this to come out with this very powerful thing. But I have a feeling it's there because he's messing with the foundations of cooperation in groups. And people have studied this and they put it in papers. Real good books have been written on the evolution of the body and the mind as relates to, in this case, like cooperation, and you funnel language in there and you funnel the tissue growth and group size.
I'd like to know when over the years from like the start of when EOS was released, sort of the size of the community and its potential shrinkage over the 3-4 years, and then potentially escalating going up. It's going to be start getting the investment coming in. I can see developers and teams of people coming back quite spontaneously and quickly. As soon as that money's there, they're going to go, right, I want some of that. I want to jump back on that.
That's right. And he said it again in the fireside chat number 3. He said, he laughed. He goes, he giggles, his really nice giggle. He goes, if the money's there, trust me, all the people will come.
Yeah, they will come.
Very sad. He say also something in the last fireside. I have also heard that, listening to that. He said something very positive. encouraging. He said, this is the time for everyone to do something. If you want to do something, do it. Just do it. If you want to do a video, if you want to do education, any kind of good content, do it. Don't ask anyone for permission. He said that in the last fireside chat. This is not Patrick. This is that. So that's just fantastic to hear that, because that gives a lot of credibility for all the people that are doing their stuff without to ask the permission. We don't have to ask the permission. We have to do what we think that is good for the community since day 0, because we say always day 1. We have a begin in 2018, day 0, and now we are coming to day 1. We are going from 0 to 1, and we are reaching the 1. In a couple of weeks, we are to the 1, because all the pieces are meshing together. All the pieces are meshing together.
That's really cool. I get that. That's great. Yeah, I heard him say something along those lines of, but not that specifically. That's great. That's great because, oh, I know. He said, every one of you, he said, I am very confident every single one of you all will be funded.
Yeah.
Was there any talk of like the URI, like the UBI stuff?
Oh.
I mean, Mark was kind of touching on
not recently.
Just do what you want. I mean, that sounds different than the whole runoffs to try to sell your project, you know, like 2 different things, if you follow.
Yeah. No, I think the UBI piece was more related to voice. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant by that.
But I know he's pulling in the identity element here. You know, you've got the syllable protection there.
Yeah. 2030.
Good playground for it.
Sure. Yeah. What can be done with it? Absolutely, it's possible.
But
I
a
don't
lot of
think
people would probably see that as self-voting funds into EDA members.
Yeah.
So can't really
First,
go there.
we need the funds. After that, we have the URI, and maybe for 2030 or 2040, I don't know. But it is too early now. We have not the funds. So.
But at the same time, it also deletes a lot of the, you know.
But that's the dream of Dan. He wants URI. He wants URI. He wants not UBI. He wants URI. So, yeah. First, I think technology is there. That's not the point. Organization with Eden, well done. Thank you to the great team member that we have currently. Chris, Josh, Amy, Felix, and the others that are in the shadow. And we can do all what we want, indeed. It's just about time. If you have the time to do, there are people that have no time to do the things.
Any issues with, any issues with the, like the amount of people that have joined, Chris? Obviously, like we're talking 150. We was hoping for more, but obviously quality is better than quantity. What's your thoughts on that?
That yeah, Dan agreed with that sentiment. That the quality we don't just want to rush people. What's going on, John? Thanks for joining us, man. So yeah, not an issue. I think
not going to make any difference on the funding side, how it works.
He didn't indicate such in that call, anyway. No, no, didn't really say so. The one thing that was interesting that I was going to say before we talked about this was so I brought up, I guess you should watch that, Mel. You'd probably enjoy the conversation. Skip the first half, because the first half is just like a summary of everything, of all the projects that won. Go halfway through, and then it's more questions for Dan. And one of the questions that I brought up, because you probably recall, I brought up this question of should we have a mock election for Eden members only to filter up the projects, right? So his answer to that was no, basically. He's like, he wants the BPs should trust the process. So if they trust the process, if they just want to see certain projects and then fund it, they can just fund them themselves directly. Why even bother with Eden if that's what they want to wait for? So they can just pick some projects and fund it. And so his point was, if you trust, you've got to trust the process, and therefore whatever comes out of it comes out of it. So fund it, trust the process, and away we go. Mark likes that.
Yes, exactly.
Which makes sense, right? It's pretty logical, because if you're going to fund this, is it just a short-term thing, or is it a long-term commitment? If it's a long-term commitment, then we're going to have different projects come and go. So in the end, there has to be some sort of trust that this process, in fact, is a good process.
We want a nice hanging fruit, small project that we can say that's a success, and we don't and build on that. That's how I think we should do. Something quick and simple.
Well, we've done it.
Yeah,
we've done that. To the BPs, if I was a BP, I could look at that and say, yeah, but no one really tried to game anything for $10,000. When you've got a few $1 million on the line, then the gamesmanship is going to begin, and people are going to really go out of their way to try to mess this up, right? And so that's what I would. If I was a BP, that's what I'd be thinking. So it's, do you trust this? I don't know. I think as a BP though, I'd be okay to doing a small, like, increase the funding, put a little bit out there that could be taken. Sure, if you have the smart contract set up, only 5% can be pulled at a time. Well, right there, you mitigate your potential downside risk. So that seems pretty fair. And then you throw a little out there and you see what happens. And if it turns to shit and you lose a couple 100,000 EOS, big deal. And it's not going to blow up the chain. And but what is going to blow up the chain is inaction, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it can link it to multi-sigs anyway, so that we can release in small chunks as and when the work gets done, things like that.
That's up to the winners, though. That won't be hard coded into the Eden smart contract.
Okay.
The smart contract itself from Eden will do the 5% distribution from the
regardless.
overall Eden treasury. So I don't think they're going to get what you're talking about, Mel. Will be more like a bylaw thing to like hard code that. Okay, the Satoshi or whatever that person's name is supposed to be. They have restrictions on their ability to distribute funds. Well, that's beyond what the base Eden OS code, I think, would contemplate. Right. Ideally, we're trusting the person who wins. Yeah. So that's the reason they got there, is because they're trusted.
Well, they're going to be trustworthy. Obviously, it's going to be pretty stupid for anyone to run off with the cash, whatever it is.
And the most cash they could get is only going to be 5% of the total treasury. So it's not going to blow up the base. It's only 5%. And then you could have a snap election 1 month later. So you realize, okay, a month goes by. Whoever the winner is like hopefully going to be committing to some sort of updates. You're going to be able to see on chain where they're sending the funds from their account. If it looks shady, snap election, raise the alarm bells. What the hell? This is bullshit. What's he doing? Okay, whoever the mechanism is to trigger a snap election, that happens. Hopefully,
it's not like no one's going to be watching him, is it? It's going to be a lot of eyes.
Oh yeah, people are going to be watching, especially because again, this is where it's, I think, good. What I'm doing with the guys now is we're trying to show how overly transparent we could be, and so we're setting the bar really high. Like I just put out as we're chatting here, I've put out the video in the meeting notes from today's board meeting, so that's there. Video's there. There's no real fund transfer yet. We should have mentioned it actually, but yeah, Mike Manfredi did give all the accounts their winnings from the last election, so that's been done, and so it's all can be tracked on chain. But bottom line is whoever's winning these funds are hopefully going to really follow the example that we're setting about how transparent they could be. And maybe they'll suck. Maybe they won't do anything. Maybe they're gonna.
You was transparent yourself, wasn't you?
I tried. Yeah, I did. We didn't do board meetings like this. Like, so we didn't do any. Like, we're doing way more now. What I did, I gave a good summary. We did a couple midway tweet Telegram chats, like nothing overly, but now it's every week we're going to do a meeting and we're going to post the content of that meeting, not just even verbal, it's like the video of the meeting. So there's very minimal opportunity for shadiness and ambiguity.
Hey, throw in there on that governance conversation about say 51% attacks with Bitcoin potential anonymous nodes. I just tossed a link into John Williamson, who is here with us. He put that presentation together on governance. So if anyone was interested in that, he steps through the governance piece. So we're lucky to have that archive to quick reference.
Yeah, John did a good job.
Thank you.
So there's a lot of communications going backwards and forwards at the moment. It's getting to grow. It's getting bigger and bigger, isn't it? And although there's been
your mic is on, John. We can hear you. I can hear you tapping on it.
There's been talk about where we sort of put all this information, Telegram or going to different applications.
About the M6.
Sorry?
Dogman and Luca Persic today in either EOS or yesterday, they were stating we can do a 25 on 150 decision, depending of the level of the decision. If the decision is very high, we can be less. If the decision is not so high, we can be less. If the decision is more difficult, we can be more. That's very interesting. That I don't know if Chris see that into the hidden Telegram. You see that, Chris, into the hidden Telegram?
I did, and it was very redundant and long, so I didn't read it all deliberately. But what my takeaway was, what's the point? If we're going to have a bunch of layers of MSIGs to make decisions, then we just skip the Eden process altogether, and we'll just have a bunch of MSIGs to make decisions. So to me, it's kind of moot.
That's being launchable for you. This is launchable for you, or it is not so serious, or you don't take that seriously?
No, I don't take it too serious. No, not as it relates to funding from Eden being allocated and then spent. To me, those decisions.
It's not about funding. It was about. Okay, I will pass that into the chat.
Yeah, it was about the ability and what's the purpose of having these very cumbersome multi-sigs? I guess that's what I missed. I missed the why.
The discussion between Mel, Dogman, and Luca Persic. So maybe Mel, you can explain.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand the purpose as to why you'd need that type of cumbersome
so I will put
MSIG. John, you were going to say something though. You haven't had a chance. You've been talked over a bunch of times. What's shaking, man?
Shit, I forget what I was going to say now, but I have just gone on the Slack channel and I was wondering if it'd be worth should we do like a tour of the Slack channel? Because there's 52 channels and I'm not entirely sure where I want to be and where I don't want to be. And I don't know, 52 channels on Slack, is that a bit excessive today?
It might be. The best place to go, John, I'll put up a link here. Well, you're in Telegram? Let me find a link. It's probably faster. Basically, it might be overkill, but there's a description of all of them. There's basically roles and the holacracy framework thing. I don't know if you've seen any of that we're trying to do. I'll send you a YouTube video and a link that will give you everything you need. Here we go. I need another view on my YouTube video, so I'm going to send it to you so you can watch it.
Awesome.
So if you go to this, I just put it in the chat, that will have an explanation of what all that is. And then in the description, there's links to a couple of Google Docs that kind of explain more thoroughly what all that is and why. So you don't need to consider, basically, if you read through the Google Doc, figure out where you might want to contribute and participate and join that particular Slack channel, which all those links to the Slack channels are in that Google Doc.
Fantastic. And yeah, I haven't been following lately. Do we have a proper ETA as to when we're going to go, do a real election sort of thing? Or are we still waiting on the member count to get up to a certain number?
No, September now. So there was a fireside chat-ish. It was a discussion with the most recent final delegates, and Dan. And he basically said he expects the first official election to be sometime in September. Is not dependent on 1,000 members. And if anything, it looks like funding is waiting on these smart contracts to be in place to control the distribution from the Eden Treasury, which is going to be 5% of the total Treasury per month. And that 5% is split amongst the respective layers from the election.
Fantastic.
John, I have put you the link to enter into the Slack.
Well, he's there. He joined, and I saw his comment. I forget what you wrote. Something funny about Slack.
Because you have to enter into the Slack first, and after you can go into the sub-channel, channel. There are CMO, CFO, CEO, CVO. All that is described into the holacracy framework. And for Chris and Mel, I have put you the link of the M6, the discussion of the M6 by Dogman from Dog Labs about the M6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
It is not so launchable. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
I just don't understand the point.
Yeah, understand the point. See.
I still don't understand it. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, you go in
Je ne comprends pas.
You will see.
Mel, can you explain what the purpose was? So, like,
It's
he's
not to me
saying
to
the
explain
ownership
it.
of Eden as a whole is symbolically different than small MSIG elective leaders, but it'll always change. And
yeah, but this is just I have put this text from the Eden OS Telegram, just a part. If you go into the beginning, you will understand the point. Okay.
Can you explain it then, since you
No,
read
I
it all?
cannot explain myself because I have not written that.
Oh, okay. Mel, can you explain the purpose?
So I'm really struggling to hear at the moment because my dog's
He
snoring
was
in the
into the
background.
discussion. Mel was into the discussion, so he can maybe
let me just turn this volume up. Can't hear what you're saying. Because it's late here. My wife's in bed. I'm trying to keep the volume down. So what was the subject on?
Basically, yeah. What was you had a conversation with Dogman and Luca Pelkic was on. I don't know how to properly pronounce his last name. And basically, it was about adding some very large multi-sig to Eden.
No, not very large, depending of the weight of the decision to take. Sometimes 25, 100, on 150, because we are 150 members, right?
Oh, you're talking about
okay.
The what's it called?
It's not about funding. It's about
similar to my brain's terrible at the moment. It's very late.
A DAO,
the new application that's coming out, which is being developed for funding. But this is the quadratic principles. I think we're talking about, isn't it? So the weight is depending on how many people are voting. So like is that what you're talking about for like the whales? No,
I don't think so. It was about Eden. The ownership of Eden as a whole is symbolically different than a small MSIG of elected leaders of Eden.
No, I don't know.
Not only do all Eden members get a vote in electing leaders, but all Eden members also get a part ownership of something. And that's what I don't understand. And so it was basically like the question was, how big can an MSIG be? Can it scale with the more members? And so I didn't follow. So Patrick was asking if I followed it, and the answer was I did not follow it because I didn't understand.
Who actually wrote that? I don't know who wrote that.
Yeah, he want to say that currently the Eden is to no one. We have no DAC for Eden. There is no DAC for the moment. So he want to play with the M6. It's what basically he say. And if you are going into the Eden Telegram, you search for what I have written and you search the entire conversation, you will get it. Because it's to do what we can do with what we have now. Because now we don't have a DAC. We don't have a DAC for Eden. There is no DAC. There is no ownership.
I think we can design contracts that allow the community to, put in their input, but I don't think MSIGs themselves would be the way to go. Again, especially with 150 or 10K. Like even block producers today, they have a hard time coordinating. Getting every BP going. So
this is not the solution.
I think again, if we just had a smart contract do it. So again, we give the power of 10K signatories or the Eden members to this one central smart contract, and then that smart contract decides what the community can and can't do, or who can do what kind of thing. But a multi-sig is really having an account and then saying, this account has, one vote, this account has one vote, this account has one vote. And to manage that is a real, pain in the ass. And again, it's not very, very flexible. I think, lightly touch the MSIG and then just let the smart contract do the work, because then we can just be much more flexible. We can have a lot more creative input on, when things then can happen. MSIG is very, dumb in a sense. You can't really program MSIG very well. It's just all MSIG is just voting to perform a transaction from a certain
I was not engaging into the Eden OS Telegram because I am not writing there. I just reading sometimes. I am following sometimes, and there was this conversation between Luca Persic, Dogman, and Mel, and I was just reading that, and they were trying to solve something with the M6 indeed. And by using the current weight of the members, so we are 150, maybe tomorrow we are 200, 300, that will be a mess, like you said, if we have to do M6 between us, because we never know, someone is no more here. It's better to do that with the smart contract directly.
Yeah, and if we track everything on the smart contract again, when people lose, when they leave it, or if we kick them out, all we got to do is kick them out of that one spot. But if we got a laundry list of oh, you got to kill their MSIG, and then you got to kill their membership on the Eden contract, and you got to do several things. It's a pain in the ass to maintain, and
a pain in the ass.
Someone's going to pay for the CPU and the RAM for doing
so,
all that.
I just raised that for the discussion. Okay, nice to have you.
Thank you. Merci. Have we? Is there an outline as to what exactly Eden is trying to do? Because I just know that every member's got their own sort of interpretation or their own wishes as they want. Whether they want it to run the network entirely, or if it's just there purely for funding EOS projects, or is there a proper statement?
My proper statement on what this is doing, Eden, without repeating what is already written, to basically say what I think now that I am in, it's to do collaboration between the people. It's to have collaborative ecosystems. Because now we have Eden, we have Pomelo, and we have EOS Starter. That's the three apple of this, that's the three public ecosystem around EOS. Pomelo, EOS Starter, and Eden on OS.
I posted a good definition of it just now. It's a nice, hot, recent definition, aiming to solve the governance problem.
Yeah, to me, it's not. It's about funding. It's just funding allocation for now.
It's crazy. It's crazy to hear that. Incredible. This is not the only problem at all. You say for now.
I'm not saying it's the only problem. I mean, he asked. Anyway, I can have an opinion too, Patrick, and it's not crazy. You don't have to like it. I'm not here to serve you.
No, I say not you are crazy. I say not you are crazy.
Right now, the purpose of Eden, as we all are signing up for, is Eden on EOS. It's a method to come to consensus to spend community funding.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no other initiative in this right now.
There are multiple goals to get at the same time. It's not about the funding only.
Okay.
I say it's not.
Well, when we do a next election, what's going to be the outcome other than funding? Please let me know. What do you think it's going to be?
You are the only one that know what it is.
No, it could be any. I mean, you run for an election, and what are you going to win at the end? What's the outcome?
But I don't need to win. I am an Eden member, and I say just what I think. What are the current facts today? It's not just about funding.
No, but John asked, "What's the purpose of Eden? What are we trying to do?"
I was
are we going to try to change BPs? Are we going to change part of our overarching governance
between the people?
That's fine. That's all great. But if you want to boil it down, first principles, the outcome of an Eden election. Eden is just an election. Really, it's a bunch of people coming together. But what are we doing? Talking, hanging out, collaborating. Sure. Okay, great. But what's the underarching thing that we're all trying to do here? We're basically collaborating in an election.
Yeah, if you have win an Eden election, it's because your proposal
is the word.
What's that? Coordination. Yeah, thank you. We're coordinating via an election process. That's it. So, and what's the output? It's you have responsibility of funding. So that hasn't changed. It's not picking BPs. It's not, even the proxy has nothing to do with that. Proxy is just going to use the members of Eden as like a filter for people to then use their weight. But it really has nothing to, it's not related to the process.
Sorry to say, but if you are elected at the last round of Eden on the last round, okay, you are elected because your proposal were good understood, well perceived, and now you have to deliver your proposal. That's the goal also. If you are elected, you have to deliver what you said. Okay.
Right. That's around funds. I mean, the whole everything you say is. I'm not going to get elected because I promised to go and clean houses or something, right? It's because I'm getting EOS funding. The only reason
Yeah,
anyone
I
cares is
know
because
that.
we're
I
spending
know
all of
that,
our
but
funding. But actually, even the winner isn't voted anymore. So that alone is not actually accurate because it's random, right, John? Did you see that? The sortition now is the
Yeah.
winner selected from that.
Yep. Okay, so if it is just so delegating where funding goes, and so that's in the name of the good of the community. So funding should go to projects that are good for the EOS as a whole. Okay, well, what advantage is there by doing it through the Eden election process rather than just having a direct vote? Why bother holding a Eden election when we can just have every Eden member vote on which project they want the funding to go to?
It
hasn't worked so far, is it? 3-4 years on, we haven't nothing's happened, is it?
You could.
Well, we haven't had the source of the funding.
Yeah, or the ability to Sybil protect. So what Eden allows for is Sybil protection because you can't be in two videos at the same time. So, or sock puppets, right? So that's the one about the process that makes it ungameable, is that we're not getting whales, and Pareto can't just purchase a high stake, right? If it's token weighting power. So that's what Eden, that's why you can't just, but to answer your question, you could now, if people are joining this Eden membership and we've all been vetted on a video call and we're all unique individuals, then you kind of solve Sybil and sock puppet kind of. I mean, you could still create sock puppets of yourself by getting someone into the induction process. You could scam the induction process for sure. They'd be easy to enter a bunch of people who are just basically you, but they're different faces that you pay off. That could easily be done. So then it comes to so if we didn't do the election and just had people vote once they're Eden members, you would then still be potentially captured by people who have a bunch of false representations, right? Just a bunch of people they've entered into Eden, but they're going to vote however this person tells them to because they've paid for them to all enter. So that's where you need the election itself to have the individuals, even if they're sock puppets, are still going to have to be able to talk to convince other people to vote for them. And you can't be in two places at once. If you're the mastermind behind all these sock puppets, you're not going to have more than one conversation at a time. So all your sock puppets better be excellent articulators to be able to convince everyone else that they need to move on, to then ensure that the sock puppet or one of the sock puppets themselves gets to the top where they can then take funding.
Into the 150 members that we are now, do you think there are sock puppets now?
It depends what you definition sock puppet. No, I don't think so. I mean, a sock puppet by definition is literally a hollow shell that does whatever the puppet master would, right? But I think the individuals in Eden right now are individuals who are real people and they have their own thoughts and opinions. And when it comes to an actual election, they'll have to speak for themselves.
Is that what you meant, John? John?
Yeah.
Is that what you was asking?
Yeah, that's just what I was asking you, just, going over, just doing a, sort of catching up and sort of outlining.
Yeah.
Devil's advocating it.
Yeah.
Why don't we bother?
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
exactly.
But what John is also stating, there are many ways to vote for some proposal into the ecosystem currently. We have Eden, we have Pomelo that is coming for early fall, Q4, or NQ fall. I am not exact date, but it's a crowd. So you have many people that are believing into a project. They are giving their funds for funding a project, and that's not necessitate election. That's not necessitate anything of that. That's another process, and EOS Starter is another process also. So Eden plus Pomelo plus EOS Starter, that's 3 different things, but at the end, it's to have a project funded, proposals funded, indeed. So,
yeah, well, I would say that Eden shouldn't be too focused on funding projects so much in the community, but more, funding or giving an identity to EOS, like so
a
when
public a public good for EOS.
Yeah. Give it a homepage, give it, something where newcomers, feel secure and that, there's a proper identity and they're not just, faceless, BPs and stuff like that. Because Pomelo will cover projects that that are good. I think, well, hopefully Pomelo will be that, but again, I don't think Pomelo is going to start getting projects where it's like, hey, we're going to make an EOS homepage, and we're going to address all these little, even the annoying things that you have to address to make a blockchain more attractive, whether it's legal stuff or whatever. Would probably be the way to go. And in doing that, we'll then prove how strong our governance is, and then from there, then again, stuff like pivoting onto broader governance of the blockchain rather than just.
Is that what you're thinking? We're just missing a homepage.
Oh no, well, there's plenty to do, but again, I'm thinking, just baby steps, right? We can only do so much, and we're only so many people at this stage, and we're still yet to prove ourselves. Really, like we've proven that we can talk a lot, but we haven't proven that we can build things and stay together. Who's to say that we don't have a big argument next week and everyone hates each other and we all give up, or Dan Larimer gets hit by a bus and then we lose our coordination, sort of thing.
That's what we're trying to do. That's the point of the holacracy, though, eh? So definitely have a look at that. And what Josh is, that guy's wicked smart, and he's very good at kind of team building of sorts, and just business building and marketing. So he's been adding a lot of the pieces to help us sort of start to build a framework. That's, again, watch that video, because we're trying to build a framework that Eden can then build from and roll over to next election. So we're not always starting from scratch. And part of that is, where's our homepage? How do members find out about us? Where's the source of truth? How easy is that all to figure out? What's the user experience like? And that's all kind of what you're saying, right? Like we're still a bit disjointed, it would feel, to a new EOS person, right? Comes into EOS, where do I go? Where's the homepage? Where's the best, where's the best wallet?
The only reason I stopped you on that homepage is because I bought the actual URL, didn't I? The EOS mainnet.io, I bought that, and I thought we could use that for that specific reason, but it's I just pointed it to our community page, so it's being used, but that could be used for a homepage to show a bit more what we're trying to achieve. But anyway, it's there.
Yep.
I think personally very interesting, because now that we have Eden, before we don't have Eden, you have your own startup, you want to create something for the EOS community, you was thinking that you have to do something as a startup kind of thing. Now if you have already your startup and you want to do something public and useful for the community, you go with Eden and you do your public creation, your asset, public asset, and useful for Eden, for the entire EOS ecosystem, not benefiting you only to you and your customers of your startups, but doing something for the entire ecosystem. That's Eden. And EOS Starter, it's other things. You create a product for your startup, you create something very specific, niche, that's benefit also to, at the end, for EOS. So all is benefiting EOS, but not with the same, I would say, purpose at the beginning. So each of this ecosystem has its purpose. Eden has its purpose, Pomelo has its purpose, EOS Starter has its purpose. So that's, I think it's very complementary. And we experience that now. We are collaborating between us like it should be since 3 years now. We are coordinating better, voila. We are coordinating us better. And with this framework, with Josh, this framework, holacracy, it's the good way to do, yeah?
Eden should be the glue between all the other applications. So Eden will coordinate everything in the jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah, we are changing our behavior and coordinating us as human better. That's the point. That's the human layer. Eden is the human layer, trust layer between small tribes, between small circles.
Exactly. I think Eden, like, as a identity layer, basically, where we all know that each is human, is a unique identity. That is very powerful. Then we can do the elections, or there can be platforms created where people just vote one human, one vote, basically, on the different initiatives. So anything can pop from that. So we can do the election process. We can do 1, 2 tier, and then another group can do another way. But the ideal part is the identity layer, which is the hardest part to get.
Yeah, and Dan Larimer is exactly doing what he was dreaming when he was with Block One. He was doing this voice, B1 June voice, identity, sovereign identity, all that. Now he's doing that with Eden and the Clarion, maximally communication platform for Eden. Clarion will be used also as a communication platform. He's doing exactly the voice as it should be. Because when you are going from a round to another round, you are going into a fractal governance. You are going vertically, and you advance into the rounds like into a pyramid. You are voice it indeed. It's better to say voice it to vote. You are making your voice. You are giving your voice for the better proposal into your group, and you focus on your group. And you go to the next round. You reach consensus. Before to go to the next round, you have to reach consensus. Otherwise, it's dead. You don't go to the next round. So that's the perfect voice as it will create since long time. For me, Eden, it's a perfect identity layer, human layer, no bots, because you have to be onto videos that go into NFTs. At the end, you have an NFT. So you will be totally, I don't know, if you want to be elected, you have to be, and it's all about funds at the end, yeah, like said Chris, indeed, yeah, because you have a lot of funds into stake, and you have to deal with this stake, and you have to be very accountable if you are doing something. So that's an incentivized mechanism to not cheat the system, because you will be directly ejected. Indeed, that's a good point.
Yeah, the potential of Eden is way beyond just funding. Don't get me wrong. Eden on EOS, in fact. It's just the base, what we currently are. If we were to write a description of what we are, it's just about the funding right now.
Yeah, since a couple of weeks already.
Which we want it to be. I mean, we don't want some crazy overly, we're going to fix the world and like Eden can solve the global democracy problem. That's not, people won't gravitate. That's not compelling enough for most people. They're going to listen to that and think, oh, these guys are all smoking crack. Good luck. But
I understand.
We can say we're gonna allocate funding that's community funding, and we're going to put it towards projects that the community deems are appropriate to grow the ecosystem and grow EOS. Then that's something that people can believe. And if we can actually do it, and the price goes up, and then it's, oh wow, look, this Eden thing really did pay off for EOS. It was in the shitter. People were talking smack about it all the time. Terrible sentiment. It used to be top 5 coin. Then we're down to like, what was the lowest we've been? 31, 32 on CMC. Like we've obviously, EOS is kind of shit the bed, objectively speaking. So if it can turn around and Eden can be a part of that, that's where then Eden can start to do other things in the world, because the process has then been proven.
I have a question. It's a question and at the same time constatation. I don't know how you say that in English. It's a question and at the same time it's a sentence. Okay, let's say the price is not going up. Okay, what you do? You stop what you are doing, or you continue. It's not a question for you, Chris. It's generally speaking for all of us. The price is not going up, okay, like we expect since long time, okay? So what we do? We continue what we have to do because we believe into this ecosystem.
We continue building. We continue building because we know we have the greatest tech, and we know that it's a good trust layer, and then it's fast and it's instant, and the fees are low. So we just need to basically create applications and services that are attractive to other people, so that more users come, and then as more users come, the network effect grows. So we need to focus what applications can we put on the chain that is going to be of service to the population, and that will then make them want to download the app, or and just have their own EOS wallet, secure their assets on that, because it's easier. They can put, let's say, their friends and family as a custodian, and then they can invest in DeFi.
One app, doesn't it? One app. So it
access to all the services. So that's what we need to do, basically, make it so that people should just use it. And that's why they have a EOS account. It's because there's so many good apps on it. So
yeah, exactly. And for me, that the price is not going up directly now or in 1 week, because now we are bullish and suddenly we should have the EOS price going up. It's not related. It's not because we have bullish global coming now that we will see the EOS price going up suddenly. So we have to be, sorry to say, patient and continue to do. And if it is only related to the EOS price, we will never do something. So I know there are a lot of people that are totally impatient. They cannot more wait. And if the price is not going up, they will abandon, cancel. They don't want to continue. But sorry to say, but at the same time, it's good. It's sad, but at the same time, it's also good, because we will see really the real intentionate people that want to continue into this boat. And for me, the price was never a point, because I know that the EOS price will not be very high. That should not be very high. You see Venezuela as they work. They don't just use EOS currency as a currency. They have created their own smart contract on EOS, on the EOS mainnet. They have created something. So they are using this as a currency each and every day. And that the price of EOS is not going very high, that doesn't matter a lot for them. So
the price of EOS is going to be proportional to Metcalfe's law, which is like the number of users squared. So the more services there is, the more demand there's going to be for EOS, and then the more the price will rise. So we can just focus on what we can do basically right now to increase activity on EOS. So if we're a dev, well, we can work towards things that bring more activity and some initiatives like that to facilitate the creation of dApps or facilitate onboarding and things like that. And as users that or members of the community that aren't technical, well, try to bring some friends, try to do local meetups, try to do anything that you can do that without any technical skills. And then between you guys collaborate on just deciding which initiatives to push on the technical side and on the non-technical side, so that members of the different community can just collaborate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I want to add one more thing. Basically, something that I think is a problem is how do we come to an agreement on what to do on certain things. So that's why I do also like the multi-sig approach, where we can have, let's say, an identity layer, which is like Eden, and then how can we come to an agreement on certain decisions. So voting, I think, is interesting, where all Eden members can vote on certain initiatives.
This is what Dogman was stating into Eden Telegram today with Luca Persic. It is that what it was speaking about.
I just shared a PDF earlier in this Zoom chat, and I invite you guys to look at it. I think it's interesting to have like a page where everyone can add pros and cons to the decision, and then together we can have like a good idea of the situation on both sides, because maybe I want this to go through because of this argument and this argument, but maybe I don't know something maybe on the technical side, or basically to have multiple brains basically focus on fixing a situation instead of a few. I think it's powerful to use the whole community and build these decentralized tools. I'm not saying this will be Eden. I'm just saying, like Chris says, right now the focus is just funding. But I just find that it would be interesting to have a tool like that to propose stuff to the community, and then we can see really what Eden members
a matrix, like a matrix, yeah. Because when you are reading the Telegram conversation, sometimes it's very difficult to if you are too much implied into the convo, you are not seeing the point sometimes. If you are just going a little bit more abstract and you get all the point of different people, just getting the point, and at the end you have a idea of on what are the facts, indeed, the different problematics. So yeah, maybe we can create a tool into the hidden Slack that we have, a kind of matrix with the different problematics and how the people see the solution to this problematics.
And the PDF that I shared, that's like mock-ups of some things that the student built. So, but it works. It has been coded also, I think, the MVP. So I would be glad to give that to Eden and any EOS community that want to push this forward. Basically, I think.
Yeah, I am opening now. Yeah,
that's why we use the students, basically, is to make them work on open source stuff that we can then share. But we want to give
blockchain governance.
Able to continue it.
Wow. Yeah, to the holacracy framework that we have already, that could be a nice add-on, for to speak about the governance. Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, I cannot say that I am not agreeing that the funds are the current problem. Yeah, we need funds. It's clear.
They're coming. They're coming.
Nice to hear. But yeah, I speak for myself, but I have never waited on that. If that's come, that's beautiful. But that's the Irish on the cake for me, if that's come.
All right, gentlemen, I've been on here for 2 hours and 20 minutes. I can leave it open for y'all to chat, make someone else a host. But I need to leave my office. I've been in here literally all day, going on 12 hours.
Yeah.
Can you leave it open?
Yep. You want to be the host?
Sure. I won't be too long, but I'm curious to hear others speak.
Oh my God, it's 2:20 a.m. in the morning to me. Oh no.
It's 20 past 1 morning here.
I am always up. Incredible.
Both animals. Okay, well, gentlemen, it's been great. Thank you for the time. I'm going to stretch my legs so I don't shrivel up to a withered, weak person. You do some exercise. But nice. Yeah, good to see you again, John. Glad you're back.
It's good to see you too. Thanks.
Right on. Okay, see you guys later.
See you later.
We'll do this again, and just every Monday we're going to do this on repeat, and then every morning starting next week, from 1300 UTC to roughly 1500 UTC, we'll do just an open office type thing with Josh and myself. So every single morning during the week, we'll have a call open. That should work well for all time zones, hopefully.
Always the Monday, or
no? So this one will be an open evening. This evening, we'll do a Monday night open mic. But in addition to that, we'll also do every day of the week in the morning an open call. That's meant to be more. I mean, it can just be like this, shoot the breeze, but ideally it's maybe more like a working meeting, or people have questions about Eden, a little more focused on like the Slack channel progress there, just to help kickstart and keep things moving forward in terms of the doing. Yeah. So right on. Okay, see you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Bye. Thank you.
Good night.
Mel, are you in the Slack?
I'm in the Slack, yes.
You are on the Slack, yeah. Yeah.
Yes, because Joshua was talking about this earlier.
Yeah, I was wondering that I have a channel into the Slack, and Ahmed Nova Crypto CMO. He has created that. I was surprised, but yeah, I do my stuff. I continue, and that's just a continuation for me. That doesn't change a lot. That's just a continuation.
Yeah, because I was talking to Joshua Seymour. And because obviously I was talking about the project proposal that I brought forward regarding having a project and voting portal. And he was saying that there was someone who's got something we could potentially use for that. So that is something which looks quite positive, that we could do what John was saying about obviously bringing your proposal, whatever it is, onto a web application that you could vote, actually log in with your wallet and vote. And I think that's what we do really need. So that's why I put that proposal forward, but it didn't go anywhere, did it? So I'm hoping that we might be able to get it off the ground through a different method.
Yeah, Josh, very interesting. John, very interesting what you have publishing now with this governance guidelines. Very interesting. We will see how we can integrate that into the current framework that it is building now. So the framework, basically, holacracy framework is built. Now we have to put the different different people into the right. I not like the right into the adequate place. You know, it's not, you can be CMO, Chief Marketing Office, and at the same time maybe you have a product and you are into the CVO, Chief Value Office, because you are bringing something to the entire community, a tool.
Yeah, one of the concerns I have though is with 52 channels, there's going to be a conversation that happens in a particular channel, and you would want to be there, but you don't even know that it's happening, kind of thing. It's going to be hard to sort of track that, and not everyone's going to respect the channel. Sometimes people have a conversation about X when it should have been in channel Y. Channel Y was the channel to have it, but they've had it in X, and so the people in Y have missed it, kind of thing. We've all missed conversations on Telegram that we would have liked to to been in, kind of thing. So
yeah, I said that at the beginning of the Zoom calls. I was very active into the Zoom calls at the very beginning of this conversation, and I said from the beginning that we have to filter the communication, and that was understood that I want to limit the people that enter into Eden. That's not that. That was about have a better communication. And in Telegram, you cannot have sometimes adult and very respectful, and forget about giraffe and all this stuff. Sorry to say, but be just pragmatic. If we want to discuss something, you and me, we have to hear us and make on paper the things and understand the things. Into Telegram, you have not that, because each one is giving his idea, popping in his mind with his emotional sometimes things, and that's give not so rational discussion. So now we are in Slack. No, it's not now we are in Slack. We have the Slack channels also, and we are beginning. And the people that are into this Slack, this is us for the moment. This is us, some members of Into Eden. We are there. The goal will be that the people are aware of that. If they want to know more, they go like you, clicking the Slack, join Slack. After that, they choose the CMO or the CAO or the CVO or the CFO. They choose a category. But before to choose the category, they have to understand what does it mean, this holacracy framework. And to explain what is this holacracy framework to some lambda people, that has to be explained in a good way. That's for this reason they have choose CEO, CMO, CFO, CTO, COO, because this is something of the current world. But instead to speak about officers, they speak about offices like that. You can have many members into CEO, many members into CMO, in COO. So in CMO, that's the biggest circle that we have. It's the CMO. We have a lot of circle into this CMO. That's the bigger that we have, because marketing is very important. But one more time, marketing is very important, but we have to go step by step with the marketing, because if we market too much now, we can cut us our good intention. So we have to go very step by step with the marketing. And like he's doing Felix now, with Creator Now platform, Creator Now, he's doing the things with a little budget. He's doing something great, very well defined. I think it's nice. So I could, for me, we are going into the right direction. We are going step by step, basically, and we are not so too much irrational. We are going rationally, and that's nice.
Yeah, no, it's all exciting stuff. I'm keen to see where we go and how we get there, eh?
That's the continuation, what we are, some of us that we are doing since day one. So for me, I speak for myself, that doesn't change a lot to have, for me, it's natural to acting like that. For others, that is not so natural. And you cannot force the people.
What excites you the most, John, about EOS, and like what do you think is his edge against other communities, and what do you think is needed most?
Yeah, I think you know, good governance, because again, you know, I think blockchain in general is going to be, you know, the way to go. Like everything will be on blockchain. You know, your house, your car. You know, the blockchain is going to make, you know, the world go around, right? But again, we're not going to be able to put the deeds to your house on a blockchain if, you know, our resolution to if it gets hacked is, well, you know, sorry, too bad, code is law, you know, that's it, you're screwed, sort of thing. And for as long as we have that, no one's going to adopt, you know, blockchain. Like your average Joe is not going to accept it, you know. And so we're not going to get mass adoption until we see, you know, some sort of, you know, better governance. And again, I don't want to see governance just go to, again, what we have today, where it's, you know, bloody Apple that decides what applications we're allowed to use, you know, on our iPhone, or, you know, what Google says, you know, what information we can and can't see. So again, we need to improve upon, you know, governance that we have today. And yeah, so far, I believe, you know, Eden is the best, you know, method to do that and improve upon, you know, governance, especially if we got, you know, Dan Larimer's sort of smarts behind it, and us enthusiastic people that are willing to, you know, test it out and see what works, see what doesn't work, and move it forward. But again, it has to be, you know, new, and that's what it is. It's something, you know, new, isn't it? It's refreshing. It's a new idea rather than your traditional bloody left versus right kind of, you know, politics and how we sort of, you know, run the world today.
Yeah, I think also there are people into the ecosystem currently that are watching and waiting what is doing the current Eden board member to see if they succeed, and if they see that we will succeed, because I am in also. So I am not in the current Eden board member, but I am participating. So if we are succeeding, and we will, because we will never give up. They will see that we were reliable and resilient, and we have never give up. And that will give some comfort zone for some people that need that, because some people need a lot of comfort to do the things. If they are not comfort, they doing, sorry to say, they are not implicate. They will not imply themselves. So if they see that we succeed, they will go. That's so common into this world. Some people are just waiting and they are not acting, and us, we are acting currently. So what we have to lose? This world is totally, we can say, crazy. This world is crazy. So what we have to lose? We have to continue what we are doing.
Yeah,
I think that Narimer was also stating that into the last fireside chat, he was stating anyone that has an idea has not to ask for permission. He has to go, to do, to act, to take position, to do something, not to have fear to do the things. The people have sometimes a lot of fear about what could say the others. You see, I don't speak English perfectly, okay, and I don't care. I don't care. I continue to do what I have to do. I think I give a lot of value. And I can speak better English? Yeah, sure. I can do better video? Yeah, sure. I can speak more giraffe? Okay, possible. But I say what I have to say and I do what I have to do. And I don't care what could say other people. So if you are always asking for something, we will never do. So we need currently people that are doing, just do it, doing what they are believing that is a good way to do, with good intent. And we are not perfect. That's good. We can do failure, and we improved the last election too. That was a trial, as the name says, and that was not that was perfect, not at all. But that gives us the tools after to improve. And when there will be the real big thing, the real big election, I don't know how many members will be, but we will see. We will be ready. We will be ready. Eden OS iteration will be the version 3, I think. All is playing good. Brendan Francher is doing the good job. The Clarion team is doing a great job. So all is going step by step. And the price, if we are depending on the price of EOS, we could be disappointed sometimes, but because that doesn't mean that EOS is bad because the price of EOS is not high. We have the technology, we have the things, we have just to use it, indeed. And I think the best onboarding things that can happen now, it's to be able to create a EOS account from Eden. You are going on to edeneos.org currently. You cannot create an EOS account. You need to have already an EOS account. So if you are able with OAuth version 2, OAuth version 2, and exactly OAuth authorization protocol. If you are able to create your EOS account on the fly directly, that will give the possibility, that will allow the possibility to have more non-EOS users coming into EOS.
That raises the question, though: do we want non-EOS users to come in and join Eden?
Good question. Because to go on Eden on EOS, you have to first understand a little bit about EOS.
Yeah. Like how big of a fan can an Eden member be if they don't even have an EOS, account to begin with?
Yeah, that's the good question. You need to have some education first, basic education on EOS before to go into to pretend to become an Eden member. Because currently it's very easy to become an Eden member. You don't need to go on eoscommunity.org and to state what you want to do. There are some people that were not going on eoscommunity.org and answering to the question, what are the values of Eden? What is the vision of Eden? How do you want to use the funds if you are elected? There are people that were just creating their profile into eoscommunity.org And after that, they come into a Zoom call and they say, yes, I abide to the rules of the peace treaty. I accept the peace treaty, and that's it. But those people, we don't care, because they will never go very long into the process, into the fractal governance process, because they will maybe go into the first round. They will just listen to the people that are into their group, and they will voice. They will say, okay, I give you my voice for your project because you have a good project, and they will not have the courage to go to the next round because they don't feel comfortable with the knowledge. And to become an hidden member, you don't have to be a programmer. You can just be someone that believe in EOS and that want to see the better proposals going up. So it's open to everyone. For me, it's an everyone open society. For me, Eden is creating an everyone open society for EOS. That doesn't mean it is open to everyone. That means potentially it's an everyone open society, but with some guidelines. You have to follow some guidelines, not authoritarian guidelines, but some guidelines. And for me, the guidelines should be, you have to introduce yourself into eoscommunity.org first, and after that you come into Eden. And the majority of the people have made that. They were going on eoscommunity.org. They have explained why they want to join, the why they want to join. Indeed, that's good. So we are 150 members. It's a good number. I think it's already a good number. You have a 21 block producer active, and we have 150 humane trust, humane with identity. So
Yeah, unique identity alone is very valuable. I think, especially on the internet, in the time that we've done it, and the sort of ease of doing it as well. We haven't had to ask people for their bloody, driving licenses and their passports and crap like that to verify that they're there. And again, the fact that we've required 3 people to vouch for them as well, I think sort of builds a better sense of community. I think if you could just walk in, even with a verified ID, if you could just walk in without knowing 3 other people or having them sort of have some sort of vouching for you, I don't think the value of the membership would mean as much to the person either. So yeah, I think that's good. But again, that's also another point where if it requires 3 people to vouch for someone, then surely one of those 3 people can create them an EOS account as well, I guess.
And the system is very well done now. If before you have the photo of the member, and maybe you don't see that the photo is not exactly the same as it is now. Now into the Eden portal, you have checkbox where you have to say, I have checked that the photo is okay. I have checked that appears the same on like the member is. So there are some mechanisms to push you that, sorry, there are some programmatic things into the UI, some checkboxes into the UI, in order that you observe the things, because before that was very easy to not doing your job correctly. You are the inviter, you have the witnesses with you, and at the end, maybe you have inducted someone that you should be maybe not induct. So now there are these check boxes, and that's very well done. The UI is very well done. I think that's the best decentralized application that we have currently on EOS. That's Eden EOS portal. Like Brandon Franchner was stating. He was saying, now we are the best decentralized, I would say, maximally decentralized application that we can have. Maximally, because you will never have a totally decentralization. That's not the goal. But to have a maximal independence, anti-fragile, and all this stuff. That's the most important. And we have 21 bug producer. We have 150 members. That's a good. That's already a good number. That seems very small, but that's a powerful group, because 150 members that are collaborating, that's very powerful. If there is collaboration, that to have 1,000 members, and that the 1,000 members are totally disorganized or totally, not going into the same object through the same objectives, indeed. So that's very powerful for me. I'm totally excited. Totally excited. Yeah. No, because the current world is totally crazy, we can say. Totally crazy. We don't see any possibility to reach consensus with the government that we have. That's completely broken. So I think that's our last chance to do something correct into this world.
Yeah.
This is why I am here, and you are here, and all of us are here. Indeed, we want a better world. We want to have a better world. We want to leave this world, to leave this world with the impress that we have done something good. We are doing the good. I think we are doing the good. It's not easy to doing the good, but we are doing something good. So at least we are doing that. So yeah. Dan is a good man, very good man, no doubt. Because he has a lot of integrity. He could left the community after block 1. He could say, okay, I go on an island, I go enjoy my life now, to do some tequilas, and no, he's still here. He has written a book. He has creating this Eden. That's incredible. I was reviving a second time when he was going back to the community, to the EOS community. This is our baby that belongs to us, and it is beyond us. That's the beauty. That's belong us, but it is beyond us. That's just incredible. And he is going back to us, and with something good, with this good philosophy, and very humble, very humble. I was never heard about giraffes, and I was never heard about Jefferson and all this stuff. And for me, that was changing a little bit my way to think. That's nice. We are improving as human. We are improving each and every day by continuing to be in EOS. It's not just about technology. That's the beauty. Governance, that was boring for me at the beginning, but now with Eden, that makes sense. That makes sense. That's human, people, trust, small tribes, giving their trust between them. And you testify your intent and you deliver. You have the NFT. That's a proof. You have the video. It's a proof. If you say something now and you are not doing what you were saying into the video, that could be seen as a lack of trust, we can say, indeed. For some people, yeah, for the majority of the people, they will say, he was stating that into the video, but at the end, he has not delivered. So what we can expect of this guy? So you see Chris, he was elected 2 times. So that's a good reliability. For the moment, I say, I have, okay, for the moment, I have trust because he has showing, but that doesn't mean that that could not change. I don't want to. I have respect for Chris. That's not that the problem. You can say something today, and maybe in some months you are not doing because you have some impeachment, or okay, that's fine. But you know what I mean. If you have good intent now, you have to go until the end of what you say. So that's a perfect experiment, Eden. I would say EOS is an experiment. It's totally an experiment. We are not yet at the 1. We are still at the 0. We are not going to the 1. We are going to the 1. And when we are reaching the 1, we will go to the N. But for the moment, we are still between the 0 and the 1. I think it's not ready for mass adoption. So that will be ready for mass adoption. We will have the Web 10, the implementation of EOS in a box by Amy Hines. When we will have the OAuth version 2, the protocol implemented into, for example, profile management system with GreyMass. At this moment, we will say, okay, now we have all onto the table in order that the people come to EOS. Also, the non-EOS users, the non, maybe someone from Ethereum, maybe someone from an EVM. If you have EVM on EOS implemented into EOS, the mainnet, compatible EVM, that would be very nice also. So for this reason, I was saying before, it's not just about funding. Yeah, funding is very important, sure, but there are some technological pieces that are still missing. They are here. They are not just implemented onto the EOS mainnet, indeed. Yeah.
Yeah, shit.
So the others are totally sleeping, I think.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Yeah.
Lovejoy, is here or not? No, he's here, but he's muted. Yeah.
And yeah, John,
Vincent.
what
Okay.
do you think about like what are the things that are preventing EOS from moving forward, and what can we do about it?
I think what's previously prevented EOS from moving forward is a misalignment with sort of block 1, isn't it? Because I remember, from when EOS first got launched, and went live, everyone thought block 1 would be contributing more to the EOS mainnet kind of thing, and then again there was a promise of voice, and so there was a lot of sort of anxiety, I think, from developers to actually produce stuff, because who wants to create a DApp in competition with block 1? Like would you want to make a social media DApp when there's a promise of voice coming, kind of thing? There was a fair few projects that got cancelled when block 1 released their thing, whether it was they had Demux and they had a few other things that sort of just got trampled on. So now it seems like we're further disconnected from block 1, and now that we've got Dan Larimer sort of leading the charge, or hopefully leading the charge, then yeah, hopefully we'll find more of identity, because I think EOS has always had this identity problem, and I don't think we have taken the reins as well as the Ethereum communities, because that they've sort of had Vitalik, and they've kind of been able to just sort of push forward, and EOS has kind of tripped over itself. So yeah, I think getting a clear sort of a governance structure and a proper roadmap. When have we really had a roadmap for EOS as a blockchain? Who said this is what we're going to expect for EOS in June, is what we're going to expect on EOS by December. So yeah,
Putting dates
leadership.
on the things, yeah.
Sorry.
Putting dates on the things.
Yeah, putting dates on the things and actually outlining who's responsible for what. Because again, we thought that block one would be a bit more responsible in delivering, X, Y, Z, and they never did, and they've been so secretive as to what they're putting out. They even day one, they started development on Bullish. They never said, "Oh, this is what we're going to do, guys. We're not going to put it on mainnet." It was ages into development by the time they actually announced, "Hey, we're only putting the block headers on EOS." Like, they've and again they raised 4 billion, and again I think part of the promise was sort of putting dApps on the mainnet, which they never did. So that alone has sort of stunted it, and again given developers anxiety, because there's a few projects I didn't bother making or investing in because I thought, block one's going to do that, and who wants to go up against block one? So or remember. Yeah, Block One was made that iPhone wallet, and that was meant to be hot shit. And then no one sort of, I think one block producer made an app out of it, but that didn't really go anywhere. And then Anchor took over anyway, and
I don't expect anything of Block One. We have to do what we have to do us, and maybe Block One is doing something with Dan Larimer. Maybe we are not aware. They cannot state that publicly. That doesn't mean that there are no connection. No, I cannot say totally. I have no proof of what I say. It's just speculation. That's my opinion, just my opinion. I am thinking there are some connection. It's impossible that there are not between Dan Larimer and then Brendan Blummer, for sure. There are some. That's the yin and the yang. That's the yin and the yang. Dan Larimer want to do the things totally without government, without the things totally holistic approach. And Brendan Blummer with Block One is doing the things in open source programmable finance, totally regulated. So you have to be able, and Dan was also saying that into a fireside chat. He was saying that with Brandon Lovejoy, and there was also Chris, I think. He was saying, and Mike Manfredi also. He was saying, if you want to continue, you have to accept to go with two parallel systems, with the regulated system and with the hidden Clarion, all this stuff. Okay, because Clarion, Eden, these two OS, Eden OS and Clarion OS, that's totally thinked to have small tribes, communication between friends, in peer-to-peer, to become our own nodes, micro chains to become our micro chains, and all this stuff. That network Edge OS, that's the same objective, to become our own agent, to become our own decision power. So that's that. That's the holistic approach. And Brendan with Block One, that's the regulators and big institution, Bullish Global with big institution. Bullish is not yet for the retail, the little whales like us. It's more for the big. So I am more confident to continue, but that's my opinion, to continue with Eden OS, Clarion OS. And I know there are the other stuff made by Google Cloud Platform and EOS.io and all these things. So that's for this reason that EOS.io, it's open source software, and that can be used for the EOS mainnet that we are striving now with Dan Larimer as a leader. That's great. That's great. I am very happy, positive that he has a leaving Block One, and he is coming back to what he is doing the best, what he is doing the best, because he could not do that where he was. But that doesn't mean there are no some connection with Block One. That's a paradox, that there are some connection at a point for sure. But to expect something from block one now, that's we have not. John Boyd, John Eater, he was stating a lot of times, you don't have to expect something from block one. What he want to say in